Muskegon, Michigan. Why do you love Rav?
Because we've become family. All those Rav live chatters and me.
Hello, this is Hockey Nut from Weyerhaeuser, Wisconsin. Just saying, tune in to Real America's Voice for the truth.
Welcome to American Sunrise Early Edition. The show where faith, freedom, and the values that built this nation take center stage.
You people and others like you built this country.
Join us as we break down the stories that matter.
F-A-F-O.
If you don't know, now you know.
American Sunrise Early Edition on Real America's Voice starts now.
All right, good morning. You are looking live at the White House and our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. as federal offices are closed as a massive winter storm moves across the country. This is American Sunrise Early Edition. I am Brian Glenn. Now, the headlines that matter, we'll get to that here in just a second. There's a lot going on this morning. First, listen, nationwide weather emergency impacting nearly 250 million Americans, stretching across from New Mexico to parts of New England and the deep south. Heavy snow, sleet, freezing rain, and frigid temperatures. At least 24 states have issued an emergency disaster declaration. Over 1 million without power, over 16,000 flights canceled, emergency service stretched nationwide. Just a big mess. Meteorologist Tracy Anthony is here with us, joining us to give us kind of a look of what we can expect the rest of today and some of the cleanup, I guess, that's happening in the Deep South right now.
Yeah, you know, Brian, and one of the big concerns with cleanup is the temperatures are going to continue to be sub-zero across most of the nation. So this winter storm is wrapping up throughout the start of the day today across New England, but the cold is going to stick around. And even if your daytime highs get above freezing, overnight lows will be dropping below freezing. So one of the big concerns, especially with power outages, is going to be that refreeze. Now, daytime highs, we are going to be chilly today. Look at the Twin Cities, 14 degrees. But a lot of us actually getting above zero. So, hey, that's a silver lining after the brutal cold here for the weekend. But we do have widespread cold weather advisories. So over 200 million people are under cold weather advisories, at least for the start of the day today. And look at just how cold it is out across parts of Minnesota. We're talking 35 below. Duluth, Minnesota, 41 below. That's the wind chill or the feel like temperature. So still got to bundle up when you step outside, and we're going to continue to feel temperatures like this through most of the week. Now, areas like the Northeast digging out from 20 inches of snow. These were some of the highest snowfall totals across the Northeast. And, you know, this is one of the biggest snowstorms we've had in several years. So historic in the amount of people that were impacted by it, and could be breaking records, not just on the temperature front, but also some snowfall records as well. So there's going to be a quieter week, but we do have one system that's going to swing through, and that reinforces that cool Arctic air all the way down to Texas. So that's going to kind of keep those sub-zero temperatures overnight locked in. Still a few winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings in effect. Notice for the Ohio Valley, the winter storm warnings, that's not necessarily for snow that we're going to have today. It's really just for the impacts that they're still feeling on the roadways in areas like Columbus, sub-zero overnight lows all week. So power outages, like you said, 1 million people without power. This has been a huge storm, and I just think, you know, coming out of it and getting the power back on, things like that, is definitely going to be slow going, Brian.
There you go. I know that it reminds me of the ice storm we had down in Dallas just several years ago, with really millions of people out of power, and just that whole area was crippled.
Yep.
Tracy, I know it's going to be a busy day for you. I appreciate you getting up early for us.
Of course, anytime.
All right. Well, as we watch the events unfold, here's a verse that kind of sets the frame of today. The verse is from John 16:33. It says, I have told you these so in that you may have peace in this world and you have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. I think that's something right now with all the things that we're taking a look at in the world of news, and everything is so heavy. And you've often heard me say, I've got kind of fatigue on chaos and violence. I think we must take some refuge in the Lord. All right, now it's time to turn into our own Terrance Bates in the Real American News voice room there in Denver. Terrance, let's get the headlines. First of all, how was your morning commute coming into the studio today?
Well, Brian, you know me. All is well, it ends well. I made it, so I'm not going to complain about the commute. It was a little icy, a little slick, but I made it. Fortunately, I leave a little bit earlier than most. The bad part of that is I've got to make my own tracks in the snow, and it did snow here. The good part is I don't have to contend with a lot of other cars, so even if I do make a mistake or skid a little bit or something like that, I'm typically not putting anyone else in danger. But I made it here, so that's really the big story, Brian. Obviously, this morning we're focusing a lot on, excuse me, the other big story outside of the national deep freeze, and that would be the latest developments in Minneapolis. It is a story that I think a lot of people are talking to as it relates to that deadly ICE-involved shooting there, Brian. There are many headlines, and I've been going through them on newspaper and other publications, but this one caught my eye. It's from the New York Times, and it reads, "Man killed by federal agents in Minneapolis was holding a phone, not a gun." Again, this is the New York Times headlines. Right now, there are some dueling narratives, one from the feds, the other from local and state officials in Minnesota as to what happened. But video shows the 37-year-old man who was killed holding a cell phone in one hand and nothing in the other. Now, this morning, we do know from investigators that the guy did have a concealed 9mm on him during this confrontation with the agents. You can see it all happen here. President Trump also responding on social media, Brian, blaming Democrats. The big question, I think, Brian, that most people are asking is, how is all of this going to end? We heard that initially the governor, Tim Walz, there in Minneapolis or Minnesota, called in some added troops, some National Guardsmen to help out. Is President Trump going to invoke the Insurrection Act and call in full-time soldiers to kind of help get the situation under control? There are lots of question marks, Brian, I think, at this moment, and it's unsettling for many Americans. Your take?
It is. And I said this earlier, I have chaos fatigue. I don't want to get up every morning, Terrance, and talk about the day of violence that we just saw the previous day. It is out of control. And, you know, we can cross-examine that shooting 6 ways a Sunday and whether or not it was justified and whether or not the man posed no threat to the officers. We can discuss all of that. But what I'm finding is it's just incredible is that the news cycle that we're in on so far the first month of 2026 and Terrance, whether it's foreign events overseas with Greenland and Iran, things like that, or it's at home, it's just a lot for our viewers to process. So I don't know how this thing ends, but I do hope that civility is brought to the streets of Minnesota.
And Brian, I will say one of the things that I noticed overnight, President Trump posting on Truth Social, and while, yes, he did go on to blame Democrats for kind of creating this environment in which people feel emboldened to push back against law enforcement, kind of part B of his message was calling on local law enforcement to really support those federal agents who are there working, that they turn over illegal immigrants, that they try not to interfere with federal agents, and more importantly, that they work hand in hand with federal agents, which felt a lot like an olive branch. It felt like President Trump was trying to de-escalate the situation. Hopefully he's successful in it, because the reality is, Brian, and again, like you said, we can talk about the justification of the shooting or not. Okay, that's fine. But Americans are being killed. That's the end game. That's what's happening. And none of us want that. I think any reasonable American doesn't want that.
And I think it's interesting how the NRA has weighed in on this as well about the man's right. He had a permit to carry that gun. Now, whether or not you can question whether that was a smart idea to bring a gun to, if you're going to attend such a protest like that, that's probably not a smart idea. But it just tells that America is they're tired of this. And I say this is just constant it's just constant clash between the government and the people, and the messaging on this is what's really critical. Terrance, if ICE would have put out a statement saying that they were in the area to pick up a child sex predator or whatever the case may be, it explains why they're there instead of just trying to pick up someone that's on their list. And I think the messaging on this will be studied in colleges for years of what not to do. And I don't want to be overly critical, but the messaging of why they're there and who they're looking for would justify their presence in these neighborhoods.
I hear you, Brian, and I agree with you in principle, but at the same time, I think there's some culpability on the part of the public. When you see law enforcement, I don't care if they're local police officers or federal agents, when you see law enforcement doing their job, yes, you can videotape if you choose, go across the street, stand back, give them the distance, give them the opportunity to do their job. But when you get involved, when you get in between law enforcement agents doing their job, things can get out of whack. Things can go left really quickly. And the reality is, these are people just like us. They're trying to do their job. They're doing their job in an environment that's contentious. And so when you add extra stressors to that, they're making decisions quite literally at the drop of a hat. And unfortunately, sometimes those decisions turn out to be deadly. But the reality is, you're putting them in a situation in which they're having to make a determination of whether their life, whether their safety, whether their colleagues' safety is being jeopardized, and they have to make a decision in a split second on how to respond. So if you want to be there, if you want to protest their actions, do so from across the street. Video. If you feel like yelling, that is your right. If you feel like cursing mouth, that is your right. But don't get involved, because when you get involved as a civilian, you just never know how your involvement is perceived and the reaction to that involvement, Brian. I just think that's a reasonable perspective.
It is. And even his own mom had mentioned to him days prior to this that please do not get involved. Don't go down there and get in the way. And that's the sad part of all of this, is we do have a family along with Renee Good. And we can examine all that as well. Always something in the news, Terrance, for all of us. Terrance, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Of course.
All right, live images from Minnesota, where developments continue to unfold this morning. We'll have the very latest on that and much more on this early edition of American Sunrise. Stick around.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, your
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Hi, my name is Tracy Ellis with Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
From Muskegon, Michigan. Why do you love RAV?
Because we've become family. All those RAV live chatters and me.
Hello, this is Hockey Nut from Weyerhaeuser, Wisconsin. Just saying, tune in to Real America's Voice for the truth.
Live look at Minnesota. Cold, and as we said, chaotic. Welcome back, American Sunrise Early Edition. I am Brian Glenn. Let's get caught up on all the news with Terrance Bates in Denver. Lots to talk about. Terrance, take it away.
Yeah, Brian, we want to continue our coverage about the happenings in Minneapolis over the weekend. The headlines are pretty clear in reaction to the events of this weekend continuing to come in online. For instance, Cam Higbee posted this on X, writing, "Training manual for domestic terrorist patrols chasing ICE agents in Minneapolis." Higbee posted about signal groups that are tracking and even impeding ICE agents. These group chats supposedly operate daily and even monitor federal vehicles and locations. Signal groups, by the way, also said to coordinate protester response to ICE activity. These claims haven't been independently verified, Brian, but they are spreading pretty fast online. And the fear is that when you've got more of these demonstrators getting in the way of these ICE agents, Brian, that it's going to lead to more confrontations that not only put civilians' lives in danger, but also potentially the lives of these ICE agents. But even more on that, it's going to create an environment longer term, Brian, in which people feel emboldened to push back against law enforcement, to impede law enforcement. And that's just not the American way, Brian. I'm sorry. And it's not funny, but that's not America.
It's not. And if you remember, CNN and other outlets were promoting an app when the California things were developing, that people could go on this app and track ICE in their state, in their neighborhood. So this is just the very latest of what has been an organized attack on this. And I think that, you know, this just shows like who is behind this, who creates these chat rooms, who's gathering all this information up to push it out and to, you know, to bring these people together. It's scary is what it is. And it's just another way that law enforcement has to deal with stuff. I'm just another element of what they have to battle.
And Brian, just to be clear, I support people's right to protest. I fully support that, whether I agree with what they're protesting or not. You definitely have the right, but you don't have a right to interfere with a police investigation. That's technically criminal. You don't have a right to interfere with law enforcement trying to do their job, and you absolutely don't have the right to put the lives or to threaten the lives of law enforcement. And for me, that's where I draw the line. If you want to stand across the street, video and yell and scream and hiss, have at it. Yeah. Especially in Minneapolis.
Terrance, I had an example I thought of yesterday. Imagine if Biden's DOJ, FBI was rounding up J6ers in the street. They were going to people's houses. They were going through neighborhoods and rounding them up. And then you had independent journalists, let's just say like our own Ben Burkholm, who often gets on the streets, Nick Shirley or any one of these independent journalists that goes out there to get video, to kind of capture what they're doing, and they end up in a predicament where they get shot. Terrance, I guarantee you we would be so upset, we would be screaming from the rooftops right now of how our government would shoot an innocent bystander that was just trying to document what was going on. So I'm trying to put myself in the other shoe. Now, granted, I don't think Ben Burkholm or anybody else would be attending one of these protests with, you know, a gun. I don't think that's a logical thing to do, or I don't think they would actually get in the way of an investigation or some type of police procedure. But I just know how we react. I know how MAGA reacted if Joe Biden's DOJ and FBI would have rounded up J6ers and one of our independent journalists got in the middle of it and they got shot. We would be pissed off.
Oh, agreed. Want to bring your attention to this New York Post headline, Brian, as well. It caught my attention. It reads, House GOP preparing for court showdown to unravel why Ilhan Omar's net worth skyrocketed up to $30 million. She, of course, also represents parts of Minneapolis, and so that's why it makes this particular story even that much more unique and pertinent today. Obviously, red flags were raised after the Minnesota Democrat had a modest income last year, and now is reporting about $30 million in assets. Representative James Comer is digging in for a long legal battle in order to get to the bottom of all of this. Two companies that Representative Omar's husband has a stake in are of specific concern here after they both posted sudden surges in assets for the couple. Brian, something just doesn't smell right here on its face. In general, question for you, you have a little bit more expertise, but is being a lawmaker on Capitol Hill these days also just a good business move, not a good political move?
Well, they always talk about insider trading and the wealth that's accumulated from people in a government position. Let me tell you where a lot of that insider trading would happen. It wouldn't be from a congressional standpoint, because a lot of times those individuals like Ilhan Omar aren't involved in contracts that the government might pick up or give out to the public sector. Now, people that are on committees, people that are in appropriations or any other high-ranking chairman, those are the guys that know the contracts that are going out for in particular industries. Now, Ilhan Omar, I don't really know much about how she gained her wealth, but I do know we've seen the fraud that has taken place within her community. And without a doubt, I would imagine some of that money has been funneled through, just like we saw, Terrance, on USAID. Same thing. A lot of this money that was going to these NGOs were going back into Democrat pockets.
Brian, going from little income to 30 million, I'm sorry, I have to give that the Vulcan eyebrow. Kind of put the eyebrow right there. It definitely raises questions, and it's a story we'll continue to monitor. Those are just some of the big headlines that I've been keeping an eye out for this morning, Brian. We'll, of course, have more for you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you, Terrance. I love the fact that we're having this dialogue and letting our viewers really get an understanding of what's going down, not only in Minnesota, but what's going down on Capitol Hill as well. Thank you so much. All right, another headline, a positive headline. Old Glory Bank is expected to go public in just a few months. That's right. Old Glory Bank expects to be listed on the NASDAQ. And this means that everyday Americans who love this country will be able to own stock in a bank that actually stands for them. The freedom economy. The DeFi economy is traditional values. It's a win for all of us. Old Glory Bank offers everything you need, but more importantly, they're run by patriots who share the values that matter. Go to the website, oldglorybank.com/Rav, to learn more. That's oldglorybank.com/Rav to learn more about that. And when we come back, an ex-Minnesota Vikings captain Jack Brewer is here to talk about his thoughts on what's going down. Don't go anywhere on this early edition of American Sunrise.
A heart attack? Do they have life insurance?
No.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Hi, my name is Tracy Elf of Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
From Muskegon, Michigan, Why do you love Rav?
Because we've become family. All those Rav live chatters and me.
Hello, this is Hockey Nut from Weyerhaeuser, Wisconsin. Just saying, tune in to Real America's Voice for the truth.
Welcome back, American Sunrise Early Edition. I am Brian Glenn. That is a live look. Times Square in New York City, they've got a lot of snow, not as much as some of the places in the deep south, but they surely are shoveling their way out. I would imagine some people's got to maybe shovel their way into work this morning. Before we get started, a quick word from one of our sponsors. I love these guys, Artillery Tea Company. That's the veteran-owned patriotic tea brand delivering premium whole leaf tea and biodegradable that is brewed twice as strong. Patriots, if you love great tea, you can get this on your terms as well. Check out Patriots Brew Club for automatic shipments that control. You can cancel, you can swap out flavors anytime. No commitments on this. You also get free shipping on every order. Tiered discounts up to 20% off, plus free milestone rewards along the way. Brew strong, brew patriotic. Head to artilleryco.com right now. Click Join Patriots Brew Club to get started on that. Good stuff there. All right, turning our attention back to Minneapolis. Images overnight as protesters' clash continues across the city. National Guard and federal agents are still active and ICE operations continue. Even anti-ICE protesters target agents in pending enforcement. Former Vikings captain Jack Brewer, who has been vocal about this and a whole lot more, what he sees playing out, is joining us live. Jack, welcome to the show. As we watch these images on screen right now, what was the first thing that was going through your mind in terms of all this anti-ICE activity?
Well, first of all, I lived in Minneapolis for many, many years. My family's still there. I went to college there, played for the Vikings, started my businesses there. So I know the people, and I know the situation on the ground. I understand it. And it's sickening, to be honest with you. The fact, it's the audacity, same thing you saw during George Floyd, the audacity, the lawlessness, people that don't respect law enforcement. They believe that a citizen has authority over law enforcement, so they totally disrespect order. And it comes from a spirit that's in that city, man. It comes from a spirit of these people are sick-minded. When you start to look, it's you want to talk about the transgender movement. Minnesota was the state suing President Trump to keep boys playing against girls. It's the mentality of them. This freedom at all costs. You can do whatever you want. Well, freedom is not free, and you don't get to attack our law enforcement officers and not pay a grim price for it. And so they've lost that basic reality. You see them marching the streets. It's freezing cold in Minnesota. Can you imagine going outside all day and marching outside when it's under, negative 10 and negative 20? That's the conditions there. And so it just tells you the mindset of these people. They have full-fledged technology going into orchestrating all this. There's millions of dollars being put in it. People are orchestrating, they're following these ICE agents, and it's just wrong, man. A lot of folks need to go to jail, but it's to be expected in a city that has stole over $9 billion from the American people. Enough is enough.
Yeah, there's even on that story that was Kim Higbee broke that there was a signal chat or there was a group chat that brought all these people in. You had government officials that were included in this group chat telling people how to organize, where to protest, how to do it, what to wear, what noisemakers are more effective. You've got government officials that are complicit to what's going on right now.
No question. We got 2 million people in our country that are in prisons and jails. We got almost 5 million people that are on supervision, and folks that are serving real time. Fathers ripped from their families, families ripped apart, people committing much less crimes than all of these politicians and these folks in Minnesota are doing right now. This is real criminality, man. You're talking about going in and orchestrating attacks on law enforcement officers. I mean, those things will get you 30, 40, even life sentences. And so these are serious crimes that we're talking about, and it needs to be addressed. And so the people in Minnesota, I said it when I was interviewed, they need behavioral health checks. I mean, something mentally is not right in a place like this. I mean, you're talking about trying to run over a law enforcement officers with your car. You just had a man run in to fight law enforcement officers with a gun in his pocket. I mean, that's just common sense, basic things that no sane human being would do is being done right now in Minneapolis.
It's interesting you bring that up, Jack, because just last night I was having a conversation about the brokenness in the American family that allows an individual to be raised or not raised in a family and think that all of this is justified in their mind. I think these people obviously are not grounded in any type of religion or are grounded in Christ. So there's no higher belief in anything. They feel like the government, or in that case, the Democrat government, is where they get their rights from. And they view people like you and I, and really just law enforcement, as the enemy. So this all starts in the family, or the lack of a family.
Exactly. These people are soulless. Let's just be frank. They're walking around in the flesh, no thought of the spirit. The word says, "Let this mind be in you that's also in Christ Jesus." And so you really can't sympathize too much for people who are doing lawless things, that are doing things. The wages of sin is death, and that's what you're seeing happen on the streets. These people don't have a foundation of the Ten Commandments. They don't have a foundation of the gospel. I read an article, even the gentleman who just got shot, his father told him, do not go and engage with law enforcement officers. And so, you know what? You disrespect your fathers and your days will be shortened. Honor thy mother and thy father. And that's what you see. You see a lot of lawlessness. The young lady that tried to run over the ICE official, she was married to a man. He passed away, and then she got into a homosexual relationship. And her father-in-law came out and spoke against it, against the choices that she makes, the lifestyle that she lives. And so, it is what it is. This is pure and simple. We're seeing displayed before us what happens when debauchery and sin takes over a city, just like Sodom and Gomorrah. I've said it for many, many years. I went to the University of Minnesota. I've been there for almost 30 years now. It's been 28 years since I got to Minnesota. And so I've seen this whole thing grow in the thought of these politicians. I mean, think about who they voted for. Tim Walz. We've seen Tim Walz and how he acts and what he says and his perspective. If that's the man that got the popular vote in the state of Minnesota, it tells you just how deranged many of those people are.
Yeah, I did see a congressional map of kind of Democrat, Republican. It does look like there is some large areas of Republican, but you don't see, there's a lot of races going on in Minnesota. You don't see any of those Democrats being flipped to Republicans due to all of this chaos, do you? Or maybe perhaps it's possible.
Yeah, I think it's possible. Listen, when I'm talking about Minneapolis and St. Paul. I'm not talking about outside. You go out, you have some strong conservative-minded people, a lot of strong Christians in the outskirts of Minnesota. You start to drive up north, you start to drive out west, and you go up to those northern cities and those communities. Those people love Jesus Christ and they love this country. But when you talk about in the city has been completely tainted. Most of those folks don't live there anymore. They've moved out to the suburbs because they don't want to be around that chaos. You got to understand, man, Somalians have taken over the city of Minneapolis. I mean, I have watched it happen over the last 2 decades. It's been at an alarming rate. You hear the sirens going off in the city when they're call to prayers. That entire culture have shifted. And so it's just, it doesn't look like America when you go there. Go to the mall. You go to the Mall of America's right there. If you go take a picture of the Mall of America, you wouldn't think you were in the United States. That's what's happening to that city, and it's a sad thing to see.
Jack Brewer, it's always a pleasure. You're a good man, good football player, good father. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate your time.
Praise God. Thank you so much, man. God bless you.
Thank you. All right, government shutdown looms once again. This time, the DHS's funding is right front and center. You're not going to believe some of the things that they're funding. That comes your way here in a few minutes. Stick around.
First time an American Pope has been chosen.
We commemorate and celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Army with a massive parade.
They fight, and they win.
Floods in central Texas, devastating. The death toll could reach 100.
It's not a good morning. I think our hearts are hurting.
God is listening.
Pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
I'm sitting here talking about Charlie Kirk being gunned down because he loved America.
Never underestimate what one person can do with a good heart.
We have peace in the Middle East, and we can thank President Trump.
Looked like an ambush situation.
Two of our brave members of the National Guard were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence.
Hanukkah celebration shot up by migrants.
Appeasement equals death.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
I'm a J6er, and I spent 3 months in jail and about a year in prison.
I spent 4 years out of an 18-year sentence in prison.
J6ers have been smeared and defamed by the media, persecuted by the government, and treated like terrorists.
In reality, J6ers are patriotic men and women, mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers from all walks of life.
All right, it's a live look at the White House. A little snowy action there. I'm not sure how many press gaggles will take place outside the West Wing. A little too cold, a little too snowy for that. Welcome back, American Sunrise Early Edition. I am Brian Glenn. Thanks for joining us. Federal offices are closed today as Washington digs out from a major winter storm right now. Another standoff. This one is in Washington. Democrats threatening a government shutdown, nearly $6 billion in refugee benefits. DHS's funding is under fire. Border and national security implications. Basically, Senator Angus King, a key shutdown negotiator, says, quote, he cannot vote for any bill that includes ICE funding under these circumstances. Now, this is ironic because when you take a look at what they're funding right now and what is in all of the Department of Homeland Security and the funding a part of it, funding for refugee camps is included in the DHS budget. Now, wait a minute. What would you say, Brian? Roll that back for me. You mean to tell me that Republicans voted to approve a budget for DHS that includes funding for refugee camps? Yes, bro. Yes, that's what I'm telling you. Well, how does that happen? Well, you've got Speaker Johnson, who's primarily responsible for everything that gets voted on into any kind of package. So you have you have Hakeem Jeffries, you have Mike Johnson, you have Thune. They all get together and they come up on what can they do to get this thing passed through the Senate? What can they negotiate? Well, guess what? The very thing that right now ICE, our National Homeland Security, all of us are trying to clean up the streets of all the Somalian fraud, all of the chaos that's going on in Minnesota right now. Your elected officials in D.C. just funded to continue these refugee camps at the tune of about $5.6 billion. All of this is under big-time scrutiny, and it should be scrutinized because this is something that none of us voted for. And one of my biggest problems right now, and my biggest issues with the Republican Party, is who is messaging on this type of stuff. Who is telling their constituents, who is telling the nation that, hey, we've got this vote coming up, and although 90% of it is really good stuff and we need it injected into policy, and we need to make sure we fund these things to secure our border, to secure our streets, to make sure our military has all the necessary weapons and funding they need. We need to make sure we get rid of these refugee camps. Oh, wait, we can't do that. We got to keep funding that. Oh, okay. That's not what you voted for. That's not what I voted for. And I guarantee you Republicans are going to be in some hot water come the midterms if this stuff doesn't get corrected. If we don't start standing up and passing policy that reflects the people's views, we are done. We're done as Republicans, and we're done as a country. And, that's why these first 2 years were so critical going in under this second term for President Trump. Now, he can executive order all day long, and he's done a fantastic job doing that. He has absolutely passed or signed some executive orders. Now, what we haven't done is codified a lot of those executive orders into policy, or into law, I should say, so that if one day Democrats take over, then they can't reverse something that's in law, that's codified into law. We are not keeping up with the rate of codification on these executive orders as we have in prior administrations. We're far behind on that stuff. And these are the things that affect you and I every day. So when you see that we're up against a government shutdown, and I truly believe that we will have a government shutdown. The Democrats will absolutely do it, and it will be in the name of ICE funding. And they're going to stand up there and posture that, hey, we got to get these, we got to, we can't have the ICE roaming the streets of America causing chaos. That's their messaging. And on the messaging from the ICE side, it needs to be, I think, and this is just my opinion, we need to really specify and communicate to the American people of who we're going after at that particular time. We're in this neighborhood today because we're going after someone that's sexually molested a 12-year-old, or whatever the case would be. Killed 3 people, drug dealer, gangbanger, whatever it is. If we don't tell people why we're in their neighborhoods, they're reacting like they are right now. Maybe they would not react as strongly if they knew that agents are in their neighborhoods conducting ICE raids and making sure that law-abiding citizens, we're not going after law-abiding citizens. Matter of fact, if you follow the law, chances are you're in the clear. But what we're seeing now is just total chaos. And it's chaos from the state level into Congress. And, you take a look at the filibuster. And if you don't know this, the filibuster is something, it was not passed into law. This is something that the Senate themselves agreed upon, that we're going to keep this filibuster rule, so that we're going to keep this 60-plus filibuster. They're going to get rid of this filibuster if they ever take control of the Senate, and they have to take care of the White House. They're going to get rid of it, and they're going to fundamentally change America through this. In other words, we're playing defense in regards to the Senate, in regards to a lot of the procedural votes that we could be doing. We need to be on the offense. We've got one chance to turn things around here, And quite honestly, I think we're not maximizing the majority that we have. We just aren't. So when you look at a government shutdown, I do think that will take place. It will be on the hands of the Democrats. It will be in the name of taking ICE out of there, and that will not be removed. The funding of ICE must continue. Then if you take a look at, what does the 2026 elections look like in terms of congressional seats? Could we lose? I mean, we already got a very slim majority right now. And in certain states, in just a couple of weeks is early voting for their primary. So you've got, we're less than maybe 30, 45 days away from some of these early votings taking place. So you're going to start to see, what these candidates potentially want to message on it. And I just really want to emphasize here that someone may claim to be America first. Someone may claim that they support President Trump. They may even be in this classic commercial where they're walking on a farm, there's a horse nearby, their family's right there, he's even wearing a MAGA hat. But you got to look at how these people voted when they were in office. And I often have said on this network, through every broadcast almost I do, you got to look up their voting record. Don't look up how they message on social media. Don't look at that. Look at how they vote and go and pay attention to who makes the loudest noise on issues that are kind of controversial, but they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. And check out, and one of the websites is Liberty Scorecard. You can Google Liberty Scorecard, go to Google, put that in there. You can click on your favorite representative or, senator, anybody, governor. You can look at how they traditionally have voted or leaned. And you would be so surprised of how many MAGA Republicans have an F, a D, or a C voting record. Now, why is that? It's because they message on one thing to get you to go to the ballot box and vote for them so they can get another 2 years in Congress or 8 years in the Senate. Then they get into office, and the first thing they do is, how do I stay in office? What do I need to do to stay in office? What the messaging needs to be so that I can retain my position. Now, they might occasionally vote for these no-brainer votes that are, doesn't take any spine to vote for or vote against. But a lot of the times, they don't vote for the things that you and I put them in office to do. They just don't. Or whoever is sending that flyer, that direct mailer to your house, or perhaps who has sent you sending that flyer, that direct mailer to your house, or perhaps who has sent you 47,000 emails to vote for them or to donate for them, make sure their voting record reflects what you want, because that is really important, because that's how we take back this country. We cannot keep putting people in office that message red meat. They go on Fox News and they red meat rant, but they don't deliver their votes. That's not what we want. All right, before we go to break, we'll do a quick word from one of our sponsors. Now, this is pretty timing right now that we're in the middle of a winter storm, basically. But it's gonna be cold for a while, brutally cold in most places. And what are you gonna do if you lose power? Now think about this. If the power goes out, and there's millions right now that are sitting in the cold, in the dark, I can promise you that. I know a few myself. Do you have any way to keep yourself or your family warm? That's a real problem. Now, winter power outages can even be life-threatening, like we had in Texas a few years ago. That's why so many Americans right now are getting the Vesta off-grid heater from My Patriot Supply. Now, it's a space heater that doesn't use electricity or propane. It runs on something called canned heat, which is indoor safe. The Vesta, you can put it in your closet, you can keep you warm, whip it out when you need it. It even doubles as a stove to cook food, which is pretty cool as well. And here's the best part. Right now, you can get this Vesta and a bunch more preparedness stuff for free when you order the Winter Survivor Kit from My Patriot Supply. Just go to mypatriotsupply.com/Rav to see everything that's included. This offer won't last long. mypatriotsupply.com/Rav today. That's mypatriotsupply.com/Rav. I can imagine so many people that were watching our broadcast just last week before all this hit are probably saying, why didn't I order that Vesta. Do it today. All right, we're in the final stretch here of American Sunrise. After the break, stick around. Plenty more. Don't go anywhere.
Donald Trump Jr. here with an urgent message about retirement accounts in America. My father just changed 401ks forever.
The very first time an American Pope has been chosen.
We commemorate and celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Army with a massive parade.
They fight, and they win.
Floods in central Texas, devastating. The death toll could reach 100.
It's not a good morning. I think our hearts are hurting.
God is listening.
Pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
I'm sitting here talking about Charlie Kirk being gunned down because he loved America.
Never underestimate what one person can do with a good heart.
We have peace in the Middle East, and we can thank President Trump.
Looked like an ambush situation.
Two of our brave members of the National Guard were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence.
Hanukkah celebration shot up by migrants.
Appeasement equals death.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
I'm a J6er, and I spent 3 months in jail and about a year in prison.
I spent 4 years out of an 18-year sentence in prison.
J6ers have been smeared and defamed by the media, persecuted by the government, and treated like terrorists.
In reality, J6ers are patriotic men and women, mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers from all walks of life.
American Sunrise early edition. I can promise you that the press is inside the briefing room right now. They're not outside of the tents. They're going to be out there for a few minutes. They're going to go back inside. It's too cold. Joining us now to wrap up today's show, American Sunrise host David Brody. Did you get a lot of snow at your house this storm?
You know, I was ready for the snow apocalypse or whatever they want to call this, and we thought we were going to get 20 inches. We got like 8 inches. It's like womp womp. It's fine. 8 inches. Okay. So, look, listen, Brian. At my age, I ain't going out there. Okay. I know I should get the cardio in. I got it. Don't want to really risk some heart issues, so to speak. Not that I have heart issues. But here's my point. Here's a couple $100. I got a long driveway. Go do what you need to do, and I'm going to be at home eating pretzels and watching season 4, episode something of something. That's my deal. So that's how I spent the snowstorm.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are definitely digging out. I know places in the South that don't normally get this stuff. They don't have the equipment to do the roads and spray it with magnesium and snow plows and all that stuff. So they are under the gun there. I tell you what, under the gun, no pun intended, this mess up in Minnesota, David, I said this at the top of the show. I have chaos fatigue. I have conflict fatigue. And I'm getting to the point, and I put this on my Instagram, that, and please don't take this in the wrong way. I don't care anymore. I don't care. I care about my immediate circle in my community, in my government, but I can't care about a foreign conflict anymore. I'm more worried about what's in my neighborhood. What say you on that?
You know, it's a really good point, actually. You know, I've always said, and there's a pastor friend of mine who always says, take care of your own bean patch right in front of your house. You know, because sometimes we get so caught up in all of the minutia of national politics and everything going on in the world. And it can be downright frustrating, depressing, angry. I mean, cue the emotion, whatever you want it to be, and it'll be there. But if you just take care of what's inside your own front yard, if you will. And once again, I'm not saying just be ignorant of everything else, okay? And that's not what I'm saying. But we can make a difference where we live. You know, what's going on at the local PTA and, you know, just on down city council and all of that. That's where all of this stuff nationally comes from anyhow. It all starts and starts to permeate at the local level and then gets national, whether it be the transgender stuff or ICE or whatever. I mean, it's all starting there in your local neighborhood. So be kind of cognizant, if you will, of what's happening and be active. I think that's the key. And I think this way you can feel like you're doing something rather than just sitting back watching X or YouTube and just saying, well, it's the end of that.
Well, you can doom scroll, and a lot of studies say once you start doom scrolling, and every headline, every video is chaos and negative. I think to young people, it really can bring them down, and I just don't think it's healthy. When you nailed it on the head, David, about keeping it local.
Well, talking about scrolling, right? I mean, if you just for like an hour go through social media this Saturday with the whole shooting situation in Minneapolis, was it a gun? Was it a phone? Was it a phone? Was it a gun? Was it a gun? Was it a phone? I mean, you just go on and on. Look, we know he had a gun. He legally was allowed to have a gun, but, you know, maybe this just in, don't bring a gun to a protest. And, oh, by the way, maybe don't get involved with ICE officials when you are carrying a loaded gun, number one. But beyond all of that, there are some questions, and I want to see what happens when the dust clears. I mean, I'm just channeling President Trump, who also says, let's let the investigation play out. Why were there multiple shots fired? We need some answers. Look, this doesn't seem clear cut at this point. We have to find out what's exactly going on.
Yeah, we need some answers. We also need more David Brody, and you'll do that here in about 16 seconds.
I'm cowbell. Brody. More cowbell. That's me.
We need more cowbell, more David Brody. Hey, that wraps up today's Monday edition of American Sunrise Early Edition. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye and God bless. We'll see you.
American Sunrise is a great way to start your morning. Join us Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We've got the news of the day and some compelling interviews that you don't want to miss. Here's what you missed from yesterday. It is now official that President Trump, not only the commander-in-chief, he is now also the commander-in-peace. Just a couple of hours ago, 47 and about a dozen fellow heads of state signed a charter officially creating a board of peace to oversee the ongoing ceasefire in Gaza. It is President Trump's brainchild, plus he's the chairman.
Here's the thing. President Trump has been such a leader on this and wanted this to come together. And his idea really is to sort of say, you know, look, the UN was never legitimate, never really accomplished anything. I want a board that actually is a working board that actually makes things happen around the world.
It seems like everything President Trump does is met with a lot of criticism, but who doesn't decide to get on board with a board of peace? I mean, come on, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all.
Former special counsel Jack Smith set to testify publicly today before the House Judiciary Committee about his investigations that led to 2 federal indictments of President Trump. Lawmakers say the hearing is part of their oversight review of the Justice Department and is handling high-profile cases. Smith previously defended his work, saying the decision to file charges was his based on evidence presented to grand juries.
It'll be super interesting. This is one of the most blatant abuses of power in modern history. Jack Smith is a criminal. He should be disbarred and put behind bars.
Congresswoman, I know we're jumping all around, but one of the most immediate challenges facing you and your colleagues there on Capitol Hill is funding the government. Are you expecting another government shutdown, or are you expecting this funding package ultimately to pass? And where do you stand on it? What is your vote at this moment?
I do expect it to pass. I'm very happy that we're taking steps to restore regular order and pass 12 appropriations bills. We are up to a deadline. I believe it will pass.
You mentioned how important it is to vote in primaries. I'm just going to allow you to elaborate on that because we have a lot of those coming up around the country. Very few people statistically vote in primaries, and it's actually more critical in some ways than the general election. Explain that to us.
In light of the elections, people need to find out there's places like Heritage and different places that score our votes. They have scores on our elected officials, and I think a lot of people would be shocked to find out that their Republican that plays part of being a conservative has a D or F voting record. We do need to get people out to the polls. We need to hold the majority in Congress. It's very essential that we rally our families, our churches, our neighbors, our coworkers to get out and vote is so important.
very first time an American pope has been chosen.
We commemorate and celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Army with a massive parade.
They fight, and they win.
Floods in central Texas, devastating. The death toll could reach 100.
It's not a good morning. I think our hearts are hurting.
God is listening. Pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
I'm sitting here talking about Charlie Kirk being gunned down because he loved America.
Never underestimate what one person can do with a good heart.
We have peace in the Middle East, and we can thank President Trump.
Looked like an ambush situation.
2 of our brave members of the National Guard were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence.
Hanukkah celebration shot up by migrants.
Appeasement equals death.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
I'm a J6er, and I spent 3 months in jail and about a year in prison.
I spent 4 years out of an 18-year sentence in prison.
J6ers have been smeared and defamed by the media, persecuted by the government, and treated like terrorists.
In reality, J6ers are patriotic men and women, mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers from all walks of life.
Ahead on American Sunrise, Minnesota mayhem. Tensions boil over in Minneapolis after a protester shot and killed by ICE agents during a federal immigration operation. President Trump weighing in on the shooting and his plan of action going forward. We have a full breakdown and the latest details ahead. Plus, packing a punch, a massive winter storm impacting millions of people dealing with heavy snow, strong winds, and other dangerous conditions. Stay tuned as we show you the worst hit areas, and we're going to share some crucial safety advice. And later, a probable shutdown? A fight over ICE funding could send the government into shutdown mode yet again. The looming deadline at the end of the week. Those stories and more as American Sunrise starts on a Monday right now. Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
We have breaking news to share with you.
politics,
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
we've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrance.
And I'm Dr. Gina. All right, good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Gina. We are live with you from the Palm Beaches. Let's bring in David Brody. He's in Washington, D.C. Terrance Bates in our Denver newsroom. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you.
Happy, very
It's my
cold,
birthday
deep
week.
freeze,
I want to know
snowy, icy.
where are the balloons and the hats and the... Yeah, never mind.
They're in the mail with a check.
Until tomorrow, right? Your birthday is tomorrow, right?
Very good, yes. My son's birthday is today, and all he wanted was to go. My son Sammy with Down syndrome, and all he wanted was to go to Disney. So I compromised and took him to Epcot. So I'm a zombie today.
That's nice. That's really nice.
That is very nice. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, Dr. Gina, you know my holiday and birthday gift, so pick a bill, I'll pay it, okay? How about that? Pick a bill, I'll pay it. So look, there's lots of news making headlines this morning, specifically the situation there in Minneapolis. President Trump out with this Truth Social post following the killing of another American at the hands of an ICE agent. The president writing, "This is why I am hereby calling on Governor Walz, Mayor Fry, and every Democrat governor and mayor in the United States of America to formally cooperate with the Trump administration to enforce our nation's laws rather than resist and stoke the flames of division division, chaos, and violence. Again, this post coming after a man was fatally shot and killed by ICE on Saturday. As a result, as you can imagine, a number of protests broke out there in Minneapolis, and it really has just been a tragic situation. David and Dr. Gina, this is really kind of mounting, and it seems to me, and I'd love to get your perspective, if it's about time for President Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act just to try to really get a handle on this and send a message. Is it that time, or should calmer heads prevail? David?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. It's about that time, and I think he's going to do it. I don't see it getting better. And the reason it's not going to get better is because you got knuckleheads, Tim Walz and Jacob Fry, encouraging this stuff. Look at this protester who was killed. Okay, what was he doing? He was actually videotaping with his phone someone else getting detained. He got into the melee. And, oh, by the way, did I bury the lead? He brought a gun to the scene. Now, he legally could bring a gun there in Minneapolis, but he brought a loaded gun to the scene. But here's my point. He was there to film what ICE was doing, which is exactly what Jacob Fry and Walz told this guy to do. They said, go in there and tape this type of stuff, videotape this stuff. Well, that's what he was doing. The problem with that is that once you do that, you start and you get close to the action, which is what he was doing, then the adrenaline starts taking over. Then the leftist streak starts to really impact your thinking. And then you get involved in the melee, and now he's dead. And so we have questions, obviously, about what exactly happened. Why were there multiple shots fired? We don't know. And I'm just channeling President Trump right now. I shouldn't say channeling. I'm just repeating what President Trump said, which is we do need a full investigation. President Trump's not coming to any conclusions either here as to exactly what happened. But this guy should never have been there in the first place, Dr. G.
Yeah, I mean, basically what you have are people protesting for other people to be able to ignore American laws. I mean, when you get right down to it, that's what you have. And that's, to me, look, these are our laws. And every single one of these people right now protesting in the street because they want to be able to, defund ICE or resist ICE. Where were these people protesting during COVID while Tim Walz had people marching down streets to force people to stay in their houses or their nursing homes or to stay away from their churches or to stay out of businesses, right? Where were these people then? Yeah, they weren't out there, I'll tell you. All right. Let's get to today's Bible verse, if we may. It's from John 16:33. These things I have spoken to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Love that one. Oh, I love them all, though, as you know. All right, turning now to the tribulations and the violence that have plagued Minnesota. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham and Minnesota Congressman House Majority Whip Tom Emmer are defending federal Border Patrol agents after a man was killed in Minneapolis, as we told you, during that immigration operation. Like President Trump, they blame local leaders for fueling the anti-police sentiment and add that investigators should be allowed to do their jobs. Governor Tim Walz disagrees, calling federal claims nonsense after the video of the shooting surfaced. Let's bring in GOP strategist, host of the 13-minute News Hour, Bobby Eberle. Bobby, to me, this is just so dangerous on so many levels. And I don't really care what people say about statistics or polling or any of the rest of it, because if we have laws and we don't enforce them, we don't have a country. If you don't like the laws, change the laws. But you just don't get to do this, Bobby.
Right. Yeah. You don't get to call your own shots. And this is what the left and the Democrats are all about. It is sowing chaos and disorder. I mean, what I hope the viewers realize and everyone out there is that every single day, ICE is conducting operations across the country. Every single day. Texas, Florida, California, those are the states with the largest number of apprehensions. We don't hear any incidents at all because of the cooperation, because ICE can go in and just quietly get the bad guys and be on their way. The only reason you have this surge in ICE in Minneapolis and other places is because of lack of cooperation. Instead of these bad guys, these criminal illegal aliens sitting in a local jail or a county jail waiting for ICE to get them for their deportation, they're out on the streets endangering the community and forcing ICE to do operations that the community gets involved in. And these protesters, they're getting more and more violent. They're bringing this upon themselves. I just got video just a little while ago of a parking lot, a hotel there in the area. Every single car is vandalized because they're thinking it's federal workers, ICE agents, and they're destroying the cars. This is lawlessness, and it needs to stop right now. And Fry and Walls is right on their feet. And I agree with David. We need to, or Terrance, invoke the Insurrection Act to shut this down so that people can see that. Let ICE do its job, which is what people voted for, and let's get on with this in a peaceful way.
Bobby, I'm so glad you made that point, because the truth of the matter is this is about sanctuary city policy. And ICE could go into the jails if they had cooperation, but they don't. And because they don't, what ends up happening, as you said, there's these at-large arrests. In other words, ICE has to go into neighborhoods, workplaces, all these type of, to find the people that Fry and Walls will not let them have access to. And this is insane that this is happening. I mean, so the blood is on the hands of both Walls and Fry in all of this, and they should be ashamed of themselves. I want to move on, but I just wanted to make that point. Let me move on to some other news. We got a lot going on, and it has to do with ICE, actually, but the Senate is working to pass spending measures before the January 30th deadline to avoid a government shutdown. Now, lawmakers are divided over funding for DHS and immigration policies. Democrats now are saying they're going to block this bill unless changes are made. So let's talk about this for a second. So just to be clear, I didn't think there was going to be a shutdown at all until, wait for it, this Saturday when that shooting happened. And ever since then, that's what the Democrats are like, hey, they think this is a tragedy. No, this is about politics for them. They see this as going, you know what, we're going to stop that DHS funding bill from going through. And to be clear, there's 6 bills here we're talking about, Bobby, right, as you know, and they want to pull that DHS bill out of the 6 and say, no, we're not going to approve that bill. We'll approve the other 5. We're not going to approve that bill. So talk to us a little bit about this, because ultimately this is going to be a mess, and they've got to approve these bills by January 30th, or there's going to be another government shutdown.
Absolutely. And so, right, so the House side has been doing all this work, getting these appropriations bills passed, and, and we've got the tough votes, and we need our coalition there, but we're getting the job done. And so now it moves over to the Senate. Everyone thought, okay, we'll get these approved, but it's like the Democrats are just waiting. They're just waiting for some kind of political, match to start some fire where they can shut the government down, and especially go after DHS and ICE, because apparently they don't want to follow the law. They don't want to enforce our immigration laws and get rid of these bad people. And this is exactly what they're trying to stop right now. They're using this, what happened on Saturday, as a means to say, we're just going to shut the whole government down unless you give us what we want. And what we want is ICE completely abolished so that we have lawlessness, so that these people who come in illegally and are committing other crimes as well, that they can just stay, that they can endanger neighborhoods, they can endanger communities. That's what the Democrats want, and they're looking at this as some kind of leverage to get that. And I hope the Republicans stay strong and say, no, this is not, we're going to take our message to the American people. This is what you voted for. You want strong, safe borders, and you want these illegals deported. Let us do our job.
Yeah, well, I really hope you're right. I really hope Republicans stay strong, Bobby.
Absolutely.
Going into this week with our fingers crossed. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thanks a lot.
All right, coming up, the latest from the West Wing regarding the unrest in Minnesota. Also later, murder rates plummet here in the U.S. What drove the decline? Find out. We have expert analysis just ahead as American Sunrise continues.
first time an American pope has been chosen.
We commemorate and celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Army with a massive parade.
They fight, and they win.
Floods in central Texas, devastating. The death toll could reach 100.
It's not a good morning. I think our hearts are hurting.
God is listening.
Pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
I'm sitting here talking about Charlie Kirk being gunned down because he loved America.
Never underestimate what one person can do with a good heart.
We have peace in the Middle East, and we can thank President Trump.
Looked like an ambush situation.
Two of our brave members of the National Guard were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence.
Hanukkah celebration shot up by migrants.
Appeasement equals death.
In chrome and a silicone gasket, it creates a watertight seal. Order your Mermaid Drain Magic today for only $19.99 and get a Mermaid Toilet Bowl Cleaner absolutely free. Drop it in the tank for up to 3 months of cleaning. But wait, this could be your last chance to get Drain Magic at this low price with free Toilet Bowl Cleaner. There's a strict limit of 3, so order now.
Call 1-800-519-4303 or visit getdrainmagic.com. So call 1-800-519-4303 or visit getdrainmagic.com. Order now.
This news break is brought to you by AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens.
A snowy White House. Ooh. Or is that Hunter Biden? Just kidding. Okay, that was really in poor taste. Or not really, actually. Welcome back to American Sunrise, everybody. I'm David Brody. We've got a lot coming up, but first, let's not play around, all right? Brian Glenn's coming up, and he's got some Red Bull energy, and T-Bates has them, sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
President Trump is defending federal agents in general after a second deadly shooting in Minneapolis in which immigration officers pulled the trigger. The agents argue they had to protect themselves and that they are blaming local leaders for not supporting law enforcement. Taking to Truth Social, the president saying the federal operation is necessary to enforce immigration laws. He also criticized Minnesota officials for fueling unrest. Saturday's shooting has sparked protests and debate over the government's immigration enforcement policies. Let's now bring in RAV Chief White House Correspondent Brian Glenn to offer more perspective on the position the White House is prepared to take. Brian, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, look, part of the issue is the investigation. A hearing is scheduled for later today to determine whether, or in federal court, in St. Paul, and it's all related to the kind of access that local and state police there in Minnesota should have to the evidence and investigative files. The feds, by the way, reportedly keeping the locals out of the loop. And that's going to be one talking point that I suspect we're going to hear for the next several days as this situation kind of plays out.
Yeah, I agree. And that's exactly what we're going to hear. But, you know, in the court of public opinion, people in Minnesota, and I'm going to say the vast amount of people in Minnesota want to see criminals removed from their streets, whether or not be they're a legal citizen or even a legal alien or an illegal immigrant coming in. So if you look at that court of opinion, they're for what ICE and President Trump is doing. If you look at it from a perspective from a leftist, a Democrat, some type of activist, of course, they're going to fight it tooth and nail. And so the courts there will see what they decide. But I think law enforcement is just trying to do their job. And I really think, Terrance, the vast amount of people see that. It's just, unfortunately, we've had two, tragic incidents that have really fueled the other side of this argument.
What are you hearing from your sources at the White House in terms of President Trump's willingness to invoke the Insurrectionist Act? He, of course, threatened to do it probably a couple of weeks ago. Are your sources telling you that he's closer to following through on that at this point?
It is. And I know you guys talked about in the previous block. I do feel that we are getting closer to that official declaration of an insurrection act. Now, it has been done before, but if you look at some of the incidents that had happened on President Trump's watch in the previous administration, all of the Summer of Love stuff, that wasn't an insurrection act, although he did bring in National Guard on several occasions to, de-escalate things. But this would be, I think, a game changer in terms of really pushing back on the anarchy that is hitting U.S. cities, all in the name of being an anti-ICE movement.
And Brian, as we kind of broaden the scope on all that's happened in Minneapolis, it is being politicized. We just talked about this. The Senate now, of course, is considering these various appropriation bills, but one in particular that Senate Democrats are targeting is an appropriations bill for the Department of Homeland Security, which, of course, would also fund ICE. They're talking about holding out and potentially shutting the government down over that one bill. So it's being politicized as well. It's just there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
It is, but I will tell you what, we also passed a $5.6 billion to fund refugee programs, the very programs and the very refugees that we are trying to remove from this country and take over the fraud, waste, and abuse of what they've been doing. We're actually giving the refugee program $5.6 billion. So that's counter-reactive there. Thanks to Republicans on that, not just Democrats. Thanks to Republicans. Also, Republicans also passed a bill to basically have the government to be able to shut off your car when they want it. We are headed directly to China if that happens, Terrance.
A lot happening in Washington, D.C. Brian Glenn reporting for us. Always good to see you, Brian. We'll talk to you later on.
We'll see you. Thank you.
All right. Before we get to today's forecast, be sure to drop your name and your city into our various social media platforms, be it Getter, Rumble, YouTube. Let us know, and you might be a very lucky winner of a personalized hometown forecast. Let's get a quick check of your forecast now with Weather Nation's Tracy Anthony. TT, good morning to you, and shame on you for letting it be so cold from coast to coast. Oh, my goodness. You said it was going to be a deep freeze. Apparently, I wasn't a believer until I walked out this morning, and I was like, ooh, okay, go put on some long johns. Maybe a little too personal, but you get the point.
You know, it was nice all weekend sitting here in Florida, seeing videos and watching everyone deal with the cold and being like, I'm so happy I live in Florida. As we look at the national map, though, it looks very calm and quiet. We are just seeing the last of the storm system wrap up across the Northeast and New England. So still a little more snow will be expected. But we had very impressive snowfall totals. So Boston, 16 inches. This is the biggest snowstorm that the Northeast has had in several years. So a ton of snow stacking up, and we're going to continue to have the cold weather advisories in effect throughout the next couple of days. So unfortunately, that cold is here to stay. We do have another push of moisture and a quick clipper system that's going to swing on through. That's what's going to reinforce those cold temperatures. But the silver lining is we don't have any more ice in the forecast, and the snow is going to stay minimal. But Terrance, I know areas like Columbus, Ohio, their overnight lows all week going to be sub-zero.
Wow. Okay, so note to self: don't travel to Columbus, Ohio this week. Tracy,
don't go anywhere east this week. Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. Okay, great. I'll stay right at home. We'll check in with you next hour. One of our lucky viewers will get a hometown forecast from you. And again, folks, just go to our various social media platforms, Getter, Rumble, YouTube. Let us know where you're hanging out, and Tracy may pick your name out of the pot and give you a hometown forecast. Up next, on the ground with ICE agents in Minnesota. In moments, our next guest will take us into their reality and commitment to justice. First, though, a quick look at this day in history.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
lying through his teeth. It was on this day in 1998 that we saw the swamp's true colors. It happened when Democratic President Bill Clinton looked the American people in the eye and gave us that infamous bold-faced lie denying his relationship with White House intern Monica Lewinsky. The Clinton machine tried to bury the truth, but 7 months later, the House of Cards collapsed. It was on August 19th that Clinton finally admitted his personal failure, confessing to an inappropriate relationship that stained the Oval Office forever, literally and figuratively speaking. Not to mention, it was a certain blue dress. Yeah, more American Sunrise coming your way in 2 minutes.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today. Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
Rev has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news. It's a movement.
This revolution of people taking their countries back.
A turning point. A chance to be part of something greater than yourself. Scan the QR code and stand with Rav. The story isn't over, and neither is your part in it. Step in. Be counted. Be heard. Together, we are Rav.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just
That was the White House on a Monday morning in, is it January? It's still January 26, 2026, as Steve Bannon would say, in the year of our Lord. Welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. I am David Brody. All right, so on Saturday, a man named Alex Preddy was protesting ICE actions in Minnesota. He was shot and killed by federal immigration officers. Now, to be clear, he was filming an ICE arrest, and he got involved in the operation. He was also carrying a gun at the time, and he ended up being shot multiple times. The shooting has sparked protests, with demonstrators calling for ICE agents to leave the state. Local and state leaders are demanding answers as law enforcement maintains the shooting was justified. Tensions remain high as the investigation continues, and we wait to see how the dust settles on all of this. Let's now bring in the founder and chair of the board for the Wounded Blue. That would be retired Lieutenant Randy Sutton. By the way, Randy was also recently on the ground assisting ICE agents in Minneapolis. Good to see you there, Randy. Help us through this. There's a lot to sift through. What are some of your initial reactions when you saw the video? What you've been thinking since then? I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions still, but there are some things we do know. Please tell us more.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot to unpack here. And first, let's go to the shooting itself. Many videotapes have arisen from this, and I've looked at about as many as I possibly can. I've looked at them numerous times, and what you see is a confrontation. You see the individual who was eventually shot inserting himself into the ICE operation. You see him getting into the face of the ICE officers, filming them. Then you see him, there's another confrontation with a female that he inserts himself into, and then they go to take him into custody. Now, it's very, very difficult to see exactly what's happening. But one of the things that I view as a professional law enforcement officer is when the subject is on the ground and they're trying to take him into custody, you see one of the ICE officers, you see a physical reaction when he goes for his holstered weapon. Now, that didn't happen in a vacuum. That happened because he perceived a threat. And there seemed to be this notion from the political left and from political leaders, and I'm really using that in air quotes, that a police officer has to be shot at before they can shoot back, and that is not the case. The way the law works for use of force by law enforcement is, would a reasonable officer feel that their life or someone else's life was in imminent fear of death or serious bodily injury? When you introduce a firearm into this highly flammable situation, you have created a situation where the ICE officers or any law enforcement officer could perceive a threat. And when you're talking about a deadly threat such as a firearm, then law enforcement officers have a right and a duty to defend themselves and others.
Oh, Lieutenant, changing gears now to the bigger picture of security in America. A new report released Thursday by the Council on Criminal Justice shows murders in the U.S. have plummeted more than 20% over last year, or from last year, marking the largest one-year drop on record and potentially the lowest murder rate since 1900. You won't be seeing this on your Alphabet Soup News, by the way. The study analyzed data from large cities across the nation and found declines in several crime categories, including carjackings and theft, while experts caution it's too early to pinpoint exact causes. But here's the thing. This is a crime reduction on criminals, crime exacted on Americans, while the news is full of crime being exacted on illegals. And that is the obsession of this news cycle.
Right, for sure. And when you look at these crime statistics, I'm very hesitant to make pronouncements based on some crime statistics from a limited period of time. But one thing is for sure, there is no coincidence when it comes down to the fact that when Donald Trump took office, that began the decline of the steep decline of violent crime in America. Why? That's the question. And when you look at the determination of this administration in the removal of violent criminal aliens and the success rate that they have had doing just that, you can't help but see a corresponding relationship here. Now, every law enforcement officer that has worked the streets knows this, that there are a small number of individuals who are continually committing violent crime. It's a relatively small number, and they are the same people. And this is why it is so important to recognize violent criminals and incarcerate them. Here's the reality. Incarceration works. It's actually the only thing that works when you're taking violent criminal predators off the street. And when I'm seeing that now a trend of Virginia, is now trying to pass a law reducing the ability of reducing minimum criminal sentences for violent criminals, going in completely the opposite direction that the American people want, I believe.
Lieutenant Randy Sutton, got to run. Really appreciate all of your expertise on this. We'll have you back. This isn't going away for sure, any of this. Thank you.
No,
thanks.
For sure. Thank you, guys.
You bet. Coming up, the benefits of snow days. Many of us had some fun on those occasions as kids, but can they also benefit our health? We're going to talk about some new findings when we come back.
When When surprise breakdowns happen, American Home Shield will be there to fix or replace parts of the systems and appliances you rely on every day. They help protect your
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shop. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today. Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
Everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
Rav has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news. It's a movement.
This revolution of people taking their countries back.
A turning point. A chance to be part of something greater than yourself. Scan the QR code and stand with Rav. The story isn't over, and neither is your part in it. Step in, be counted, be heard. Together, we are Rav.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just
You live here in Florida, you really think snow is beautiful. I know for some of you out there battling it right now, you might not think it's so beautiful. Welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Dr. G. Thanks for joining us. It is time now for today's health news, sponsored by the Wellness Company. And under the microscope today, the benefits of a snow day for our kids and those young at heart as well. Health experts say an old-fashioned snow day can be beneficial for children's mental and physical health, giving kids a chance to unplug from screens, play outside, get fresh air, all the things. Doctors claim that time off for sledding, building snow forts, and social play can help reduce stress and improve focus when students return to school. And what about adults? I feel like this is... Yeah, I feel like a snow day is good for the adults, too, sometimes. They say snow days should be seen as opportunities for rest and activity, not just lost learning time. Boy, I could agree with that. I could use a snow day, go skiing somewhere, maybe Colorado. Sounds really good to me right about now. I knew it was good. Like mentally and physically, I knew it was really good. Everybody knows the next medical crisis, though, is around the corner, whether it comes in the form of a crippling winter storm or a pandemic or something more mundane like a tick bite. You and your family want to be prepared. That's where the Wellness Company comes in. You know the Wellness Company. We have their great doctors like Dr. Peter McCullough on all the time. The Wellness Company and their doctors are medical professionals. You can trust them, and their line of prescription drug kits are the gold standard when it comes to keeping you safe and healthy. Whether it's a medical emergency kit, the contagion kit, the first aid kit, or the travel kit, these prescription kits have an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks that tell you how to use the meds in the kit. Rest assured knowing that you have emergency antibiotics, antivirals, antiparasitics on hand, help keep you and your family safe. Go to www.twc.health/RAV today. Give it an order. That's twc.health/RAV. Use the promo code RAV. That'll save you 10%. The next medical emergency isn't a question of if, it's when. A storm, a pandemic, a tick bite. Be ready. The Wellness Company delivers doctor-prescribed medical emergency contagion, first aid, and travel kits stocked with antibiotics, antivirals, and antiparasitics, plus clear treatment guidelines. Trusted physicians, real medicine, peace of mind. Prepare now. Don't wait. Let's send it over to David.
Thank you, Dr. G. I really appreciate that. All right. Time now to discuss what happened in Minnesota. Once again, ICE-related, but this time federal authorities have now arrested 3 people involved in that protest that interrupted church service in Minnesota. Attorney General Pam Bondi said activists entered city's church chanting anti-immigration slogans during worship. Did I say anti-immigration slogans? Well, in other words, they were for the illegal immigrants, is what I'm trying to say. The Justice Department is investigating alleged civil rights violations, saying disrupting religious services is a federal crime. One of the pastors there is a local ICE official, we should point out as well. For more, let's bring in the founder and president of Communio, the co-author of Endgame, the church's strategic move to save faith and family in America. That would be J.P. DeGance. J.P., thanks for being here. So congrats on the book. We are going to talk about it in a moment. First, though, these protesters who essentially stormed into that church in Minneapolis, I'm curious to get your reaction when you saw it. What can be done by churches about protecting themselves? I mean, talk about you want to go to church and have a peaceful Sunday, and then this happens.
Yeah, look, this is a huge violation of constitutional liberties, right? The First Amendment, the first clause of the First Amendment is freedom of religion before you get to freedom of speech. And now, this is not an example of agitators exercising their freedom of speech. They are robbing worshipers of their ability to have the right to worship. The Foundation for Individual Rights and Education, FIRE, came out and issued a statement that this was not protected speech. These guys came into the church, terrorized children. They blocked parents from getting to their own kids. Kids were weeping. They were crying. The agitators called their parents Nazis, said things like, do you know that your parents are going to, quote, burn in hell? I mean, these are just outrageous. This is according to the court records that have been filed in these cases. So this is well beyond. I don't even like using the term protester. These are really agitators that were there to provoke violence. So regardless of where you are on the question of enforcing immigration law and statutes, this is something that I think every American should be outraged by. This is something that houses of worship now have to be concerned about. A new escalation in our smoldering, really growing civil conflict.
Yeah, and very, very few Democrat politicians calling anyone out on this.
Mm-hmm. No, and which is really frustrating. But the polling has shown that, unfortunately, back in the 1990s, it was very common to have church-going Christians in both the Democratic and Republican parties. Right. Unfortunately, this God gap that folks have pointed out, that overwhelmingly there are very few Sunday churchgoers relative voting for Democratic national candidates when you compare them to Republican churchgoers, and that's been really a shift in I think policies where one of the parties is more and more aligning itself with ideas that are frequently in contradiction to the gospel.
Well, as Gina, as you talk about that DNC convention in 2008 when they stripped God out of their platform, and there's been a whole lot of other issues, but that is a big, major one. Finally, JP, let's talk about your new book. You co-author this book. It's called Endgame, the Church's Strategic Move to Save Faith and Family in America. It argues that America is facing a deep crisis in marriage, family, life, and religious faith. And it also gets into how the church must adopt new strategies to support healthy relationships and strengthen families and all that. Talk to us about this book.
Yeah, it's to educate pastors, church leaders, priests, bishops that actually the decline in religious affiliation, the decline of Christian faith, is actually follows the collapse in marriage. Right, you had the rise of non-marital birth, the rise of single parenthood beginning in the 1960s, and then about 25 years later, religious non-affiliation starts to grow at a proportionate rate. And one of our big points to pastors is that if we're really interested in sparking revival, we have to spark a revival of that covenantal sign of salvation, which is marriage itself. And so we work with churches. In the book, we unpack strategies that churches are using today. We pioneered on our effort that successfully lowered the divorce rate in Jacksonville, Florida, across the entire county by 24% in 3 years. We had a major initiative that worked with 93 churches, Protestant and Catholic churches, that moved 58,912 people through 4-hour or longer skills ministry and driving down that divorce rate. And Jacksonville had been the 6th worst city in America for marriage, according to Men's Health magazine, and the Huffington Post prior to it said that this was one of the 10 cities where marriage goes to die. So we did find things that really worked in the book. We unpack the strategies churches can use, and that our ministry community is bringing to churches more than 400 across the country now in 32 states.
Wow.
Wow.
That is really impressive. I absolutely love that. I really hope to read your book. And, wow, Palm Beach could really use some of that special sauce, I'll tell you that. JP,
we'd love it.
We could just use some churches, actually, down here in Palm Beach. JP DeGans, thank you so much for the book and for your time today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, JP.
All right, coming up, President Trump says he is skipping the Super Bowl. Find out why. That's next as American Sunrise continues.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today. Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
Everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
Rav has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news. It's a movement.
This revolution of people taking their countries back.
A turning point. A chance to be part of something greater than yourself. Scan the QR code and stand with Rav. The story isn't over, and neither is your part in it. Step in. Be counted. Be heard. Together, we are Rav.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just
Welcome back. Coffee pods are easy, but most of them are just caffeine and nothing else. Rejuvenate pods are built differently. They're clean pods infused with CA-AKG, a compound linked to longevity, metabolism, and deep cellular energy. It's the easiest way to get better focus, smoother energy, and long-term benefits without changing your routine. I choose them because they match the lifestyle I want. More energy, more clarity, and more intention in how I start my day. If you're going to drink coffee anyway, make it one that actually supports the life you're building. Head to 1775coffee.com/Rav and try Rejuvenate Pods today. Don't just drink coffee, rejuvenate. All right, now that we are caffeinated, it's time to stay awake, not woke. And today we are discussing the Super Bowl. President Trump says he is skipping this year's Super Bowl in San Francisco. In an interview with the New York Post, Trump criticized the halftime show, calling performers Bad Bunny and Green Day bad choices. Trump says the long trip and the entertainment lineup factored into his decision not to attend. Let's bring in Terrance, Dr. Gina, and David. Terrance, want to go to you first on this one. If you're a football fan, I'm not sure that you don't go to the game just because you don't like the halftime show, but that's the president's prerogative, I suppose.
It's absolutely his prerogative, and I am in lockstep with the president. I also won't be watching. For me, it's because my team, the Chicago Bears, aren't playing, but that's a whole nother issue. That's a whole nother issue. No, I probably will be watching, but I get it from the president's perspective. And just because he's not there doesn't mean he won't be watching. I suspect he'll have it on in the background, and he'll absolutely be watching it on television. He just won't be there in person. Plus, the reality is security would be a concern, and so I get it. I definitely get it from the president's perspective, Dr. G.
He's got other things to do, too. Like, he's a busy guy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
he can probably think of a lot of things to do that are more important than to go to a Super Bowl, David Brody. I don't know.
Well, but here's the thing, though. He loves sports. So I think the fact that he's not going to this sends a signal. And I think that's good. Listen, as a Jets fan we haven't been in the Super Bowl since 1969. I don't care who's playing the halftime show. If I can get a ticket to the Super Bowl, I'm going, just so you know. But that's me. Having said that, about Bad Bunny, and yes, okay, have I listened to a few reggaeton songs in my day?
You've eaten some rigatoni, what?
No, I didn't say I eat rigatoni every day, but that's a separate health issue. No, but reggaeton, yeah, no, listen, I have family that has some Puerto Rican blood, if you will, in it. We've been to Puerto Rico. I love Puerto Rico, by the way. I know all about Bad Bunny and all of his bad antics, if you will. But put it this way, I'd rather watch Bugs Bunny than Bad Bunny. That's all I got to say.
And again, I suspect that the president will still watch the Super Bowl. He just won't be there in person, which is his choice. Dr. Gina said it. Yeah, he's got a lot on his plate, so I get that. And it's also a way for him to send a message that he doesn't necessarily support the halftime show and the performers, which, again, is his right. There are other Americans who probably will go do something else during halftime and won't necessarily watch the show. It's his right. It doesn't, in my mind, diminish the Super Bowl at all. And there is an audience that still will wait for the halftime show. And the president will likely watch it. He just won't be there in person. No huge deal. Like, I get it. No huge deal from my perspective, Doctor.
I just want the dips. Super Bowl dips are the best.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah,
right? The
Super Bowl
dips you
snacks.
have at a Super Bowl party, they set the standard for the whole year of dips.
Well, the time to go run to the snacking table, is during halftime. That's time for snacking. You're not going to be missing anything.
That's right.
Although, I, for the record, I will be glued to the screen. I love Green Day. I'm so excited to see some rock and roll during the Super Bowl. All right, well, great conversation as always, you guys. Coming up, building a marriage in faith. How can people improve their relationship through religion? We talk to experts next. And before we go to break, Real America's Music has released the new song, The Somali Waltz, and it continues to climb up the charts. As of this weekend, it reached number 4 on the iTunes country charts and in the top 35 overall. Here's a preview.
Minnesota's headlines are getting wild. Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar are being accused of massive fraud, and it's so bad, all you can do is laugh at this point. So from Real America's Music, the label that brought you the #1 hit, Anthem of the Free, comes a brand new song from singer-songwriter Natasha Owens, The Somali Waltz. Let's make the music industry mad and run this to #1. Scan the QR code or search The Somali Waltz on iTunes and buy it right now. The Somali Waltz, available everywhere.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today. Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
Rev has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news. It's a movement.
This revolution of people taking their countries back.
A turning point. A chance to be part of something greater than yourself. Scan the QR code and stand with Rev. The story isn't over, and neither is your part in it. Step in, be counted, be heard. Together, we are Rev.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just
God created the heaven and the earth.
Yes, God did create the heaven and earth, and I want his voice. Welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. Time now for our moment of faith. It's brought to us by Lee Greenwood and the God Bless the USA Bible. All right, in focus today, building a marriage based in faith and on Jesus. A new faith-based resource is encouraging couples to strengthen their relationship through prayer. Build Your Marriage with Prayer. It's by Brad and Heidi Mitchell. It's a 40-day guided journey designed to help husbands and wives move beyond surface-level prayers and grow spiritually together. The book includes daily prayers, reflection, questions, and practical exercises aimed at deepening connection and building a Christ-centered marriage. It is available now online. And let's bring in the book's co-authors, Brad and Heidi Mitchell. Great to have you both here. That's a cozy looking shot, as I told you guys during the break. Thanks for being here. Congrats on the book, and take it away. You can, well, I don't want to say fight about who goes first. That wouldn't be very good for this segment, but talk to us a little bit about the book, because it's really needed now more than ever.
Well, we wrote the book because we just realized a lot of couples don't pray together, and prayer is really the most important thing that you can do to strengthen your marriage. We had met pastors, wives, ministry couples, missionaries who, believe it or not, don't pray together. Only 6% of all ministry couples actually pray together, 5% in the general population. And so we decided this is something that we needed to talk about and we needed to write about.
That's great. Talk to me, Brad, a little bit about the practical aspect of this book, what it gives people, and because really the truth of the matter is we always hear the power of prayer, but that is indeed true, and the Bible is has many examples of that throughout Scripture.
Absolutely, that's right. And David, it's great to be with you on American Sunrise. We appreciate all that you all are doing and really enjoy the show. I wanted to mention just a couple of things statistically, what Heidi just said about how many couples don't pray together. 95% of couples don't pray together. And yet the stats show that while the divorce rate in the United States is somewhere between 40 and 50%, for the couples that pray together, it's 1 out of every 1,152. So why shouldn't couples be praying together if it is the thing that's really going to be strengthening and supporting your marriage? The problem is a lot of people feel insecure. They feel like their faith is really, private. And of course, it should be personal, but it should never be private. And they don't know how to begin praying together. They maybe weren't raised to do it. They don't know how. And so we decided, let's write this guidebook to take away the fear factor and to really provide an on-ramp for couples to begin a daily habit of praying as husband and wife.
That's fantastic. We've got about less than a minute left, but any tips on when maybe you don't quite feel in the mood to pray with your spouse that day based on some, potential argument or something that happens in life where you're just like, you know what, this ain't the day for that. What's some of the tips there?
You can pray independently. Still do it, because sometimes we've disagreed and we prayed independently, and you know what? We've come back together and lo and behold, we agree.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be staying away from prayer based on that. And sometimes even if there's something going on, you can come together and you can say, look, I get it. We have been at odds about this, but why don't we just take a moment? Let's pray together. And as you do so, you don't want to like spiritualize the situation and pray that your spouse will see things your way in the middle of the prayer. Lord, please help Heidi to see things my way. You don't want to do that, but you definitely want to come together with a focus on Jesus Christ because he's the one who's at the center of the marriage.
Absolutely. By the way, I'm assuming you go to Amazon to get this, but is there a website or is there any place people can go and get more information?
Amazon's the best place.
Build Your Marriage.
Build Your Marriage. There it is. Look at that. We have all of the graphics and all of that. All right, Bill, listen to me, Brad and Heidi, thanks for being here. I'll get your names right. I know you guys. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.
Thanks you,
for
David.
having us.
All right, great stuff. We're back with the second hour of American Sunrise in 2 minutos. Thank you very much. I'm bilingual. Back in a moment.
Introducing the limited edition God Bless the USA Bible, inspired by Lee Greenwood's hit song and the most recognized patriotic anthem in America, God Bless the USA. The God Bless the USA large print leather-bound King James Bible also contains America's founding documents, the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance, along with a handwritten chorus to Lee Greenwood's song, God Bless the USA. With its large print and slim design, this Bible invites you to explore God's Word anywhere, anytime. The God Bless the USA Bible makes the perfect gift and cherished family heirloom keepsake to pass on to future generations. Designed for an easy reading experience in the trusted King James Version translation, this large print Bible is perfect to take to church, Bible study, work, and for traveling. Order yours today at GodBlessTheUSABible.com.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today. Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
Rev has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news. It's a movement.
This revolution of people taking their countries back.
A turning point. A chance to be part of something greater than yourself. Scan the QR code and stand with Rev. The story isn't over, and neither is your part in it. Step in. Be counted. Be heard. Together, we are Rev.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just
Coming up on the second hour of American Sunrise, ICE in Minnesota. The shooting of a second American protester by ICE agents there in that state, generating strong reactions in Washington and around the country. But what really happened? Well, the latest on the controversy and the developments throughout the hour. Plus, another government shutdown? Well, the deadline is just days away, and a fight over ICE funding has made a shutdown more likely. We're going to talk about what you can expect later in the hour. And hitting a high note, real American music, the Somali Waltz, continuing to climb the charts. It's number 4 on the iTunes country songs list, and it's also top 35 in new releases over the weekend. We're going to check in with the singer-songwriter Natasha Owens later in the hour. Those stories, so much more ahead. So the second hour of American Sunrise starts right now. Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
we have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrance.
And I'm Dr. Gina.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second hour of American Sunrise. I'm David Brody, coming to you from D.C. Let's bring in Dr. G in West Palm, T. Bates in our Denver newsroom. Good morning to both of you. And Dr. G, you're tired. You went to Disney over the weekend. You be tired.
Well, I did Epcot, and I'll tell you, I texted several of my friends and said, whatever I do, whatever I say, never let me do this again.
Why?
It's stupidly expensive. I couldn't even believe it. 8 people we took, and I just can't even. I won't even say the amount, but it was just the stupidest amount of money, and it's a lot of walking. And you stand in line for however many hours for one ride, and you go, wow, really? So I don't. Yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. I don't know. Do I sound cynical? Also, they're woke. I don't like that. You know, you just gotta. They put rainbows on stuff they don't even. You wouldn't even. It's like an underlining of it. It's just not for me. But my son.
So is it?
My son turned 20 today. Turns 20 today, actually, and he has Down syndrome, and he loves Disney. And so that was my compromise, was to go to Epcot, where at least they have the around the world thing, which is a little bit of adulty.
You're a good mama. You're a good mama.
I tried. Last time.
I think it's safe to say you didn't enjoy yourself.
I have adult children that can take my son next year. I'm done. That was it. Out, over and out. Terrance, let's get to some news.
Wow. She even forced me into. She was like, all right, I'm done, Terrance News.
Done.
Do it now. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Headline.
Yes, ma'am. Let's get to it then. A hearing in federal court in Minneapolis today could help settle whether Minnesota investigators will get access to evidence collected at the scene of Saturday's latest ICE-involved shooting there in the Twin Cities. The agents involved claim that they fired defensively after getting into an altercation with the 37-year-old man who was killed. Turns out the guy was carrying a concealed 9mm pistol, which he was licensed to have on him, but again, during the altercation, that's when investigators saw that he had the gun on him. Local and state police say the feds aren't allowing them into the crime scene, and they're running the investigation unilaterally, so say the local investigators. President Trump, in the meantime, responding to the Minneapolis shooting on Truth Social Sunday, writing in part, Democrats are putting illegal alien criminals over tax-paying, law-abiding citizens, and they have created dangerous circumstances for everyone involved. Tragically, 2 American citizens have lost their lives as a result of this Democrat-ensued chaos. His message went on to call on Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Josh Fry, along with other local and state law enforcement, to cooperate with federal agents and to turn over illegal aliens. School closures, flight cancellations, and digging out from underneath this weekend's winter weather continues today for much of the country following this weekend's massive winter storm. Work is underway to restore power to hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses in the Southeast. President Trump has already approved emergency declarations for at least a dozen states. More ice and snow is in the forecast for today, and that's coupled with below freezing temperatures. It may actually be several days before the effects of this winter storm ease. That's a quick check of your headlines. Now let's get a quick check of your forecast. Weather Nation meteorologist Tracy Anthony has your hometown forecast. And Tracy, I suspect that for many people's hometown, it's going to be cold, cold, and colder.
Really all week, so we're not getting rid of this cold air. We do get a little warm up, but it's not going to be much. When I'm talking a little warm up, I'm talking 22 degrees in areas like Maine. Now Maine and New England, this is where we do still have the remnants of this low pressure center, still getting a little snow stacking up there, but then we'll clear out for the remainder of the week. We do have another clipper system that's going to kind of bring another shot of cooler air. Look at those overnight lows dropping to below zero and staying there most of the week. So throughout the start of the day, this is what we're going to be dealing with across New England, just some lingering snow. But the power outages that were just mentioned across Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee, this is going to be where we do have some big issues. Now, throughout the daytime, the temperatures are going to be getting above freezing, so melting some of that, but overnight they drop back down to the teens. So for our viewers there, definitely play it on the safe side. Slick roads probably all week. And we still have about anywhere from 500 to 800,000 people without power across the South because of this storm system. Our last hometown forecast is from St. Louis, coming in via Rumble. 16 degrees for your daytime high. This is where you're going to feel a little more of a warm up, getting to 30 Tuesday, Wednesday, but then we plummet once again. So it is going to stay well below average, and so you're going to want to keep the winter jacket handy. Terrance, I know you've been dealing with the winter weather. I know David's going to be dealing with it out in D.C. The only people not are Dr. Gina and myself.
Really? You're going to go there? You know,
I just had to.
You know where over here, so you had to. Okay, that's how we're doing it on a Monday. All right, Tracy, good to see you. We appreciate it.
Too. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get you over to David. David, I suggest that we leave Dr. Gina out of this segment since Tracy just kind of poked the bear saying, oh, yeah, we're comfortable down here in West Palm Beach. It's so nice. It's 60 degrees, it's 70 degrees, and both of us are in the deep freezer right now.
We're in the deep freeze, but she is spitting facts, as the youngsters like to say, so it is true.
Hip-hop David.
That's me. Yeah, that's my nickname typically. All right, T. Bates, let's talk about Minnesota. We've been talking about it all morning long. This is what President Trump put up on Truth Social in terms of what he wants to see going forward. Quote, I am hereby, hear ye. No, he didn't say that. I'm hereby calling on Governor Walz, Mayor Fry, and every Democrat governor and mayor in the United States of America to formally cooperate with the Trump administration to enforce our nation's laws rather than resist and stoke the flames of division, chaos, and violence. And that, of course, is because they are in sanctuary cities invoking those type of policies. The president then went on to single out Walz and Fry and other Democrat officials to say that they need to work more closely with federal agents as part of the administration's crackdown there. Meanwhile, Governor Walz, wait till you get a load of this, used the opportunity here to make this outrageous comparison. Look at this.
We have got children in Minnesota hiding in their houses, afraid to go outside. Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota. And there's one person who can end this now.
Yeah, that person is you, by the way. I know that's not the answer you're looking for. Joining us now with reaction is Government Accountability Institute president and, of course, the author of the book, The Invisible Coup, How American Elites and Foreign Powers Used Immigration as a Weapon. Peter Schweitzer is with us. The great Peter Schweitzer. Thanks for being here, Peter. Appreciate it. I'm curious to get your reaction, everything going on in Minnesota, and Tim Walz's comments comparing this to, in essence, Anne Frank and the Holocaust. What is he, out of his mind? I guess that's rhetorical. Please, Peter, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, David. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's reminiscent of something from my history. You have a governor who is demagoguing. You have a governor who says, I don't like this federal law involving immigration. I don't like federal enforcement enforcing federal law. So I'm going to take it upon myself to encourage people to harass and disrupt federal authorities who are trying to carry out the law. The last time I saw that in American history was Mississippi and Alabama in the 1950s and 1960s. This, I think, is outrageous. There's a simple way that these lives could have been prevented from being taken, and that's simply to have local law enforcement say, you can protest, you cannot harass, you cannot disrupt what federal law enforcement is doing. And I think we also need to step back, by the way, and look at the larger picture. This is not just about some local lefties who are deciding to harass. One of the themes in my book, and I think there's lots of evidence for it, is this is sort of a clash of civilizations taking place inside the United States. You have foreign actors, you have global NGOs that are supporting these protesters, encouraging it, not just in Minneapolis. They were behind a lot of the unrest in Los Angeles. This is something bigger that's going on, and I think the president and the administration need to continue forward in enforcing federal law.
Peter, I've watched, you since back in the day with Andrew Breitbart when we were fighting with the Tea Party, and I've read all of your books. And this one, though, I have to say, is really critical. Everyone needs to read this book because there's a lot going on with this illegal immigration that you point out in The Invisible Coup that Americans, even Americans like me, who study this stuff every single day and talk about it on television, don't know. One of the things you talked about were states like California, Colorado, Nevada, Utah, Texas, New Mexico. The list goes on and on that Sheinbaum has identified. This is, of course, the president of Mexico, who is a national socialist, by the way. And you talk about how she wants to name all of this, rename all of this Mexican territory, and rename North America Mexican America. Talk to us about Sheinbaum and her plan to turn America's socialist from the inside out using illegal Mexican immigrants in America.
Yeah, Gina, thank you for those nice words. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things when researching the book kind of shocked me because I didn't expect to find it. But the Mexican government views mass migration not just as kind of a safety valve. They actually view it as a weapon to deploy against the United States. And let me just read two quotes specifically. These are from Mexican officials, what you're describing, Gina. This is from a government report in December of 2024, written by one of President Sheinbaum's top aides. Quote, "We already know that the Mexican population in the United States reaches 39.9 million. We Mexicans are reclaiming our territory," referring, of course, to the territories they lost in the 19th century because they sold them to the United States. This is a quote from one of the most powerful senators in Mexico. He sits on the National Defense Committee. He's also a member of the ruling Morena Party. Quote, "Mexicans are in our territories: California, Nevada, Texas, Utah, New Mexico, Arizona, Kansas, Oklahoma, Colorado, and Wyoming. We're going to take back the territory that was stolen from us." This is not just bravado. This is just not idle threats. They actually have an infrastructure in the United States that is engaging in, provoking law enforcement and encouraging these violent anti-ICE protests. They are also involved in our electoral politics. And this network, the UK and China have 6 and 7 consulates in the United States. Mexico has 53, and they are hotbeds of anti-Trump activism. So we need to look at shutting down some of these consulates.
I mean, my goodness, my head is exploding.
Right?
Literally.
This book is so important. Everyone needs to read this book. Peter, thank you for it.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.
My goodness. All right, coming up, House Speaker Mike Johnson is signaling support for impeaching federal judges who ruled against President Trump. So which judges are being targeted and why Republicans say the courts have gone too far? It's next on our docket here on American Sunrise.
I'd like to say this is the first time, but there have been others.
How many?
Who can keep track?
You think this is a joke?
Darling, we need answers, and you're going to give them to us.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shop. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today. Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
Everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
Rev has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news. It's a movement.
This revolution of people taking their countries back.
A turning point. A chance to be part of something greater than yourself. Scan the QR code and stand with Rev. The story isn't over, and neither is your part in it. Step in, be counted, be heard. Together, we are Rev.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just
I'm Emily Finn. Time now to drain the swamp, and this morning we are fleshing out obstructionist judges. House Speaker Mike Johnson is signaling support for impeaching federal judges who have issued rulings against the Trump administration. At a press conference Wednesday, Johnson said he backs calls to impeach U.S. District Judge James Boasberg of Washington, D.C., and U.S. District Judge Deborah Boardman of Maryland. Johnson argued that the judges have exceeded their constitutional role by issuing decisions that block or delay President Donald Trump's policies. Johnson called impeachment an extreme measure, but said it may be necessary to hold judges accountable and send a warning to the federal judiciary. For more, let's bring in Terrance Bates, Dr. Gina, and David Brody. David, do you think that this is an extreme measure, and will it even happen?
Well, it's extreme in the sense that, judges don't get impeached every day, for sure. Do I think it could happen? Probably not, for a couple reasons. I just don't think House Republicans have the fight and the appetite to do it, number one. I think some Republicans do. Number two, the midterms are coming, and I think Republicans are focusing on other things right now. And number three, I think if Republicans end up losing the midterms, they'll be out of power anyhow. So I think all three of them suggest that this won't happen. Even if it did, let's say these judges were impeached, it doesn't matter because they're not going to be convicted in the Senate. So womp womp, they are going to stay where they are. So there's that. By the way, speaking of impeachment, Dr. G, Democrats are already saying we're going to have our revenge because remember Alejandro Mayorkas was impeached by Republicans. Now they want to impeach Kristi Noem, the DHS secretary. So we'll see how that goes. But I guarantee you that if they win in November and they take control of the House, I think Noem is in trouble big time. This is what they're going to do, Gina.
Yeah, I think we have never seen anything like what the Democrats are going to do if they get power back, especially if they, by any chance, get the presidency in 28. I think it will make the lockdowns during COVID, the debanking, J6, the false imprisonments, all the things that happened, the complete lack of justice, Terrance. I think it'll make it all look like child's play. I think these people, I think we have two very distinct takes on life, not just politics, between Democrats and Republicans. One is good and one has just taken up the cause of evil, Terrance.
And to your point, Dr. Gina, that's why the upcoming midterms are that important. And that's why President Trump, starting next month, is said to be going coast to coast, literally on a weekly basis, just touting various candidates, touting his agenda. It's not till November. The election isn't till November, but the campaigning starts now. And I think there's some who would argue that the election is actually underway right now. And so President Trump realizes just how important this is. And hopefully lawmakers who are running for re-election or good Republicans who truly have President Trump's America First and MAGA agenda at heart, realize what's at stake, and they're really taking this seriously and campaigning hard.
By the way, real quick, speaking of that it's underway, the RNC is talking about and looking to do now a Republican convention in the midterms, which is very unusual. It's going to be like Trump's going to speak, and it's going to be a whole big convention like you would have in a presidential year. They're going to do it for the midterms. So that's coming up. We'll have to do more on that story.
Going to need to do something.
I mean, it's critical.
Yeah, absolutely. The countdown to November is certainly on. All right, coming up, we're headed down to Wall Street for the opening bell and insight into how to hold on to your hard-earned dollars with some common sense. We'll be back with more American Sunrise in just 2 minutes. Stick around.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today. Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
Everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
Rev has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news. It's a movement.
This revolution of people taking their countries back.
A turning point. A chance to be part of something greater than yourself. Scan the QR code and stand with Rev. The story isn't over, and neither is your part in it. Step in, be counted, be heard. Together, we are Rev.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Welcome back, everyone. We're about 6 minutes away from the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. We'll take you there the moment it rings. I can tell you that pre-market trading looking pretty good on the Dow and the S&P 500. The NASDAQ, which is the tech-heavy index, not looking so hot at the moment. Again, we'll take you to New York for the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange here in short order. We'll get a better idea of what this Monday of trading looks like. First, though, let's get you over to David Brody.
Thank you, sir. All right, T-Bates, time now for a dose of dollars and common sense. Here now with what you need to know about keeping your hard-earned cash in your wallet is the founder of Stormwall Advisors, Michael Wilkerson. Michael, great to have you back on the show. We love having you on. Yeah, your advice is just spot on, as we like to say. I don't know who likes to say that, but we like to say it. All right. Let's start with Canada. So over the weekend, yikes, President Trump threatened to impose a 100% tariff on our northern neighbor if the Prime Minister, Mark Carney, follows through with a trade deal with China. Could you imagine China and Canada trading? All right, this is just blowing my mind. What impact could this happen, or could this have, if you will? Sorry, go ahead.
It's really hard to know where to start because it seems so preposterous. I mean, let's just remind ourselves that 85% of Canada's population lives within 100 miles an hour's drive from the U.S. 70% of their trade is with the U.S. They are our neighbors, and there's absolutely no way that we are going to allow China to have a backdoor, either economically or otherwise, into our neighborhood. And the problem with this, of course, is that if we were to allow it, those EV electric vehicles and parts that are built wherever are assembled, go back and forth across the border in the U.S. We've got a trade agreement with Canada, but we cannot allow a way for those Chinese autos to come in and disrupt our auto market and the North American market in general. So it's truly absurd. Not sure where this is going other than PM Carney's virtue signaling at Davos to try to curry favor with the Chinese and try to act as an independent actor from President Trump.
Yeah, it seems to me like he's basically beyond the virtual signaling, which I totally agree with. I mean, it's one of those things like, okay, Trump, you're going to play hardball. Let me throw this out there and see if you like that. So, all right, moving on to the Federal Reserve. President Trump, Michael, expecting to announce a successor for the outgoing Fed Chair Jerome Powell in the coming weeks. What challenges do you think a new chair is going to have to face when Powell leaves in May? I'm assuming this will be kind of, I know this sounds weird to say, but kind of Trump's handpicked guy. I mean, I know they're supposed to have independence, but let's be honest, Trump has thrown independence out the window. He wants a guy that's going to lower interest rates and do a few other things.
That's right. Well, this new chairman has become like the conclave, the search for a new pope, the interest that it's drawing for the first time. Really unusual. Nonetheless, you've got really qualified candidates. You could call them a little bit more hawkish in Kevin Warsh, a little bit more middle of the road in Rick Reeders and a Wall Street bond guy. And then Kevin Hassett, who was a Trump favorite for a long time, now not looking as so likely. I don't know that whoever comes in is going to matter in the following sense. You asked what challenges does the Fed face? We've got real challenges, which is what I've referred to as the deficit debt inflation doom loop. And we are on this path of 6% deficits, growing national debt, and the likelihood that inflation resumes. Rates will come down. It is in the interest of the U.S. government. Not to mention the fact that we are in the midterm year. That'll be good for the government. It'll be tough for consumers because we're likely to see inflation hit again. So the biggest issue that we're going to face is credibility of the Federal Reserve. One thing happened, David, recently, which is that the U.S. dollar is no longer the largest foreign reserve asset that other central banks are holding. Gold has now resumed its former place as what foreign nations are preferring to hold rather than the dollar. That's going to create challenges for the Treasury and accordingly for the Fed going forward.
We have about 20 seconds left, but you said something there. You said inflation is going to hit again. What did you mean by that, and why so? We got about, like I said, about 20.
Sure. So when you lower interest rates and you do other things called quantitative easing, pushing more money into the markets, that's going to have the effect of rising asset prices. We're already at all-time highs. We're going to see it even with gas prices coming down. Other things are going to start rising again, and that's the long-term risk that we face in the United States.
Very nice. Michael Wilkerson, thanks for being here. Thanks for answering that in 17.5 seconds. I appreciate it. You are the voice of reason. We appreciate you.
Thanks, David.
All right. We've got a lot more coming up, including T. Bates, who's asked for more airtime. That's not true. He never said that. I'm literally lying on national TV, but he has the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. It is sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
We're less than a minute away from the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. It's going to ring here in short order, and then we'll get this week underway, this week of trading underway. You hear the applause there at the podium, which means the bell is going to ring momentarily. And then we'll get an idea of where the markets are standing on this Monday. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, and the bell in 3, 2, 1. There you have it. The markets are now officially open, and trading is underway. The first buys and sells being made there at the New York Stock Exchange. Here's a quick look at our big board. The Dow, S&P 500, and the NASDAQ looking good at the moment. Really, the only blemish on the board is oil at the moment. It's the only thing that's down. We, of course, will continue to monitor all of this for you throughout the day and keep you updated as the markets go up and down, up and down, up and down. I almost feel like a nursery rhyme. The wheels on the bus go up and down, right? Well, a new year means new financial goals, like making sure that your savings are secure and diversified. So will this be the year that you finally listen to us here on Real America's Voice and talk to someone over at the Birch Gold Group? They really are great people, and we appreciate their educational approach and their understanding of macroeconomics. There are forces out there pushing the U.S. dollar lower and gold higher, which is why they believe that every American should own physical gold. Until January 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, the Birch Gold Group is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. If you'd like to claim eligibility and start the process, simply text the word America to the number 989898. The Birch Gold Group can help you roll an existing IRA or a 401k into an IRA in gold, and you're still eligible for a rebate of up to $10,000. Make right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate of up to $10,000 when you buy by January 30th. Text the word America to the number 989898 and claim your eligibility today. Again, text America to the number 989898. You only have a few more days to take advantage of this deal. Still to come here on American Sunrise, a new poll is showing voter discomfort over immigration policies as midterm elections get closer and closer. Some Republicans are even warning that the strategy could cost them the House. So is this a messaging problem or a political liability? We'll have the facts next.
This holiday season, Real America's Voice is proud to partner with our friends at Angel Studios for a special giveaway you won't want to miss. As they launch season 2 of their hit series Homestead, we're giving you the chance to win an exclusive Homestead hat absolutely free. Everyone who becomes an Angel Guild member using our link is automatically entered to the contest. When you join, you're supporting meaningful pro-American storytelling, and you're supporting RAV at the same time. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, or text the word RAVAngel to 75802. After you scan or text, make sure you follow the steps provided. When you complete the steps and join the Angel Guild, you'll be automatically entered to win that exclusive Homestead hat, a perfect holiday gift for yourself or someone you love.
Be one of the first 50 people to sign up and win a hat automatically. Hurry while there's still time.
So scan that QR code or text RAVAngel to 75802. Happy holidays from all of us at RAV.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
I'm a J6er, and I spent 3 months in jail and about a year in prison.
I spent 4 years out of an 18-year sentence in prison.
J6ers have been smeared and defamed by the media, persecuted by the government, and treated like terrorists.
In reality, J6ers are patriotic men and women, mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers from all walks of life.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
And we need your help.
For just $10 or more, you're helping these patriots get mental, physical, and spiritual help.
Please scan the QR code or go to j6support.com to donate $10 or more to support these American patriots.
Thank you for being a patriot. Thank you for standing in the gap.
All right, welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Dr. G. Thanks for joining us this morning. We invite you to hop in our conversation on YouTube, Getter, Rumble, and of course at our ambassador site. It is time now to take the political pulse of America. Here's the beat today. A new poll showing President Trump's immigration crackdown is creating a rift with Republican voters. And it comes at a critical time. With midterm elections looming and the GOP holding a razor-thin House majority, some Republicans are warning that wall-to-wall coverage of ICE raids, arrests, and clashes with protesters could turn off swing voters that helped place President Trump back in the White House in 2024. Politico's poll shows nearly half of Americans, 49%, say the deportation campaign is too aggressive, including 1 in 3 Trump voters who say they support the goal, but not the execution of it. For more, let's bring in David Brody and Terrance Bates. David, I don't buy it. It's Politico, first of all. I think if anything is going to endanger the GOP, it will be the rift between the America First and the MAGA folks that we see developing. I just don't believe it. I think if anything, when they pick on ICE agents, I think it causes MAGA to become even more incensed about the left and what they're doing, and not really picking on those who, not pointing out who the real victims are. I think here is the worst part of it. I think every day we should say names like Laken Riley, Jocelyn Nungaray, Rachel Morin, Brian Mendoza, the rest of them?
So a lot of things to say, but I'll try to keep it brief. I agree with you way on the America First MAGA rift. I think that is a major storyline and the big one going forward. 100%.
And it's beneath the surface. And frankly, someone like Politico would never point that out because they don't want that to be the issue. They want this to be the issue, and I just don't think it is.
Yeah, well, and that's where we may actually, to a degree, disagree. I mean, I think that most, there are a lot of, okay, let me back up. There are voters and folks like us that pay attention to this stuff, and we know the details, and we understand what's going on, which is Tim Walz and Jacob Fry. These are the people that are the problem here, and they're encouraging and emboldening this, right? We understand the nuance. A lot of people don't understand the nuance, right? They're going about their lives, and they see ICE raiding public areas. That's all they see, Gina. And so we need to understand that. Like we have to, I think, get out of our world of like, wait a minute, we're in MAGA land and we understand. And it's not just MAGA land, but we understand the issues. There's a lot of voters out there that it's not, I'm not trying to diss those voters, but the truth is they got better things to do, but they just see this and they start to doom scroll and they're like, wow, oh my gosh, what the heck? And then they move on and they go on with their lives. And so it's a PR problem for the administration. That's my point. And so I just feel like if the folks in MAGA get it, we understand what the real problem is, okay? And the leftists, they're not going to be convinced. But those in the middle, I got to tell you, I'm concerned about those in the middle that quite don't pay attention to this, T. Bates. And I think that is a danger spot for Republicans, because I think you can easily make the argument like, look, Democrats are against law and order. Got it. That's easy. That's fine. But when you have the visuals like this of ICE going into neighborhoods like this, which, by the way, is because of Walz and Fry, but when you have that visual, for people that are not paying attention to the particulars, that's a problem. That's the qualifier. That's my point.
That last point, I think, is critical. It's an optics issue for the administration right now.
It is.
And unfortunately, sometimes the optics trump the actual policy and the common sense of what's really happening on the ground. It's an unfortunate thing. Let's just be honest. Sometimes people are just lazy. They don't want to read. They don't want to go and do the research. They simply look at the video, and the video seems damning. The video seems frightening. The video seems third world. It doesn't seem like something that we would want to see on the streets on American streets. And when people see the video, they've already made up in their mind what's happened or the implications of what they're watching, as opposed to really going and looking at what led to this.
And T. Bates, the point, and you're right, and the point is that this would never be happening, these at-large arrests going into the homes and the businesses and all that, if they, as in local officials in sanctuary cities, would actually allow ICE to do their job and go into the jails and arrest the criminals and get more information about where the criminals are so they can do targeted raids. Instead, they have to go in and kind of go knock, 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 knock everywhere, and that's causing a lot of this, but it's because of Fry and Walz. Look at Memphis. Memphis is ICE is they have great cooperation in Memphis, and crime is down half. I have the statistics here. Let me just give it to you. Memphis has had crime cut in half over the last 120 days. They've arrested 6,000 people and rescued more than 142 missing children. That's what ICE is doing in Memphis because they're allowing ICE to do their job.
Well, look, guys, let's move on, because the killing of a second individual by ICE agents in Minneapolis is garnering strong reactions around the country. For another perspective, let's bring in field reporter and author of the book, Fiery but Mostly Peaceful, Julio Rosas. Julio, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I'd like to get your perspective on what we were just talking about, kind of the perception versus the reality of what's happening in Minnesota and the impact that might have on the midterms and beyond.
Well, the fact of the matter is that President Trump campaigned and won on carrying out mass deportations. Yes, he said that they were going to prioritize arresting and deporting the worst of the worst, but that's not what he only campaigned on. And then Democrats have falsely said that that's the only thing he said. No, I mean, they really had campaign rally signs at the RNC saying mass deportations now. So as someone who has covered the recent unrest in Minneapolis, it is unfortunate that the media and the activists are doing a good job at winning the PR battle, because as I can tell you that the reason why we're seeing these scenes play out in places like Minneapolis is because there are people, there are networks that are working very, very hard to do actual battles with the federal government. We're not having these types of same scenes playing out in Texas or Florida, where there is greater cooperation between state, local, and the federal government. And so I don't know how it will impact the midterms, and obviously the polling is suggesting that it's going to negatively affect it. But especially with a place like Minneapolis, the Trump administration can't back down on this, because the BLM riots from 2020, which I also covered, they got a great surge in victory sense. And what I mean by that is that they were able to successfully force the Minneapolis Police Department out of the 3rd Precinct and set it on fire. And then we saw other leftists across the country try to replicate that because they saw that as great victory. So it's kind of, time's a flat circle, right? So now we're back to Minneapolis on a different topic. But the Trump administration, in my view, can't back down on this because it will have disastrous effects in the long term.
Yeah, and let's talk about that, Julio, for a moment. The Department of Homeland Security, now we've got this, they reported on the arrest of a rioter who attempted to disable ICE vehicles. In a post on X, the DHS said this: during the riots, one individual was apprehended for obstructing law enforcement personnel and utilizing caltrops to deflate the tires of law enforcement vehicles. Upon apprehension, the subject was found in possession of a bag containing several similar devices. The subject was arrested. So you're on the ground in Minneapolis. You see anything else like this? What's going on specifically?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, the same networks and organizations that facilitated the chaos back in 2020, they never went away. And so they've obviously adapted to this new target, which is, instead of it being the Minneapolis police, it's now DHS. And so, yeah, during my time there, not only were they attacking DHS, but when Minneapolis police, the few times that they came to try to address the unrest that was happening outside some of the hotels because they thought ICE was staying there, they were being pelted with rocks and bottles, and because there's snow on the ground and ice chunks on the ground because of the weather, they were throwing that at them as well. And so this is just par for the course. Like I said, these people are very organized. They are literally trained on a daily basis to go after anybody that's a threat, whether it's legitimate or not. And so this isn't going to end anytime soon, even if, let's say, that there's a truce in Minneapolis, because the immigration enforcement is going to continue, as it should, because, again, that's what the president campaigned and won on.
Julio, another reaction from Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar. In an interview with Meet the Press, Senator said ICE is making us less safe and that she will not vote to fund the agency. Do you expect more Democrat lawmakers to engage in this rhetoric prior to these budget votes?
Yeah, absolutely, and they're using this chaos that's being created again by the left. This chaos isn't being created by DHS. None of this would be happening if people weren't out there injecting themselves into situations. That I've seen it time and again, and that's why I go to these places, because this is where the conflict starts. And so, the Senate is going to do what the Senate's going to do. I know that they want the House to be called back so that they can make changes to the bill and the budget. But at the end of the day, this can't stop in terms of immigration enforcement, because as someone who covered the border crisis for 4 years, I mean, it had devastating effects on the country. And so it's very funny now to see Democrats who had nothing to say about that. They had nothing to say about the millions of people just flowing into our country. And the disastrous effects it had on them and American citizens. Now all of a sudden want to talk about immigration enforcement nonstop.
Mm-hmm. I mean, isn't this really about the census and about elections and these slim margins that Democrats have used of bodies, basically? They're using these people, Julio. I mean, that's when you start with that on its face, it tells you sort of the heart of the matter, right? This is really about votes and power and money to the Democrats.
Yeah, I think that's why, because whenever, especially during that time under the Biden administration, people were asking, well, why are they doing this? This makes no sense to have an immigration policy like an open border. They that idea of using people so that they can increase their representation in Congress certainly holds weight.
Julio Rosas, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks, Julio.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, the Somali Waltz, a new release by Real America's Music, is shooting up the charts, hitting number 4 on the country music list on iTunes. We're checking in with singer-songwriter Natasha Owens right after this break. Stay with us.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
This holiday season, Real America's Voice is proud to partner with our friends at Angel Studios for a special giveaway you won't want to miss. As they launch season 2 of their hit series Homestead, we're giving you the chance to win an exclusive Homestead hat absolutely free. Everyone who becomes an Angel Guild member using our link is automatically entered to the contest. When you join, you're supporting meaningful pro-American storytelling, and you're supporting RAV at the same time. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, or text the word RAV Angel to 75802. After you scan or text, make sure you follow the steps provided. When you complete the steps and join the Angel Guild, you'll be automatically entered to win that exclusive Homestead hat, a perfect holiday gift for yourself or someone you love.
Be one of the first 50 people to sign up and win a hat automatically. Hurry while there's still time.
So scan that QR code or text RAV Angel to 75802. Happy holidays from all of us at RAV.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
I'm a J6er, and I spent 3 months in jail and about a year in prison.
I spent 4 years out of an 18-year sentence in prison.
J6ers have been smeared and defamed by the media, persecuted by the government, and treated like terrorists.
In reality, J6ers are patriotic men and women, mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers from all walks of life.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
And we need your help.
For just $10 or more, you're helping these patriots get mental, physical, and spiritual help.
Please scan the QR code or go to j6support.com to donate $10 or more to support these American patriots.
Thank you for being a patriot. Thank you for standing in the gap. Breaking news from Real America's Voice.
We are back with breaking news out of Israel, which says the remains of the final hostage held in Gaza has now been recovered. It clears a major hurdle in the ceasefire with Hamas. The Israeli military confirming that the body of Ran Gvili was found and identified after a large-scale operation in northern Gaza. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calling it a major achievement, saying that Israel kept its promise to bring everyone home. Gvili was killed during the Hamas attack on October 7th. His return opens the door to the next phase of the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. We, of course, will have much more on this developing story throughout the day, but that is breaking news that's just into our newsroom.
Breaking news from Real America's Voice. Let's spill some tea.
Let's Spill Some Tea is sponsored by Artillery Tea Co., the veteran-owned patriotic tea brand delivering premium whole leaf tea and biodegradable sachets that brew twice as strong. Patriots, if you love great tea on your terms, check out the Patriots Brew Club for automatic shipments you control. You can cancel or swap flavors at any time with no commitments. You'll also get free shipping on every order, tiered discounts up to 20%, and free milestone rewards along the way. Brew strong, stay patriotic. Head to artilleryteaco.com right now. Click Join the Patriots Brew Club to get started. It's time now to spill some tea, actually. And what's in the cup today? Well, the hot new hit that just dropped from Real America's Music, the Somali Waltz. Over the weekend, it reached number 4 on the iTunes Country Songs chart and the top 35 on U.S. releases overall on iTunes. Take a listen.
Minnesota's headlines are getting wild. Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar are being accused of massive fraud, and it's so bad, all you can do is laugh at this point. So from Real America's Music, the label that brought you the #1 hit, Anthem of the Free, comes a brand new song from singer-songwriter Natasha Owens, the Somali Waltz. Let's make the music industry mad and run this to #1. Scan the QR code or search the Somali Waltz on iTunes and buy it right now. The Somali Waltz, available everywhere.
Now, remember to scan the QR code to download it on iTunes. Joining us now with more is chart-topping recording artist and patriotic powerhouse, Natasha Owens. Natasha, good morning.
Good morning.
Been seeing you here around Palm Beach a lot lately. You have laid all of your success. I've listened to your music for a long time. You've laid it all on the line to be an outspoken, patriotic Christian advocate. You and I, in fact, are doing an event together. I'm emceeing. You're singing with Brittany Aldean, Kathy Lee Gifford, Mike Rowe, a lot of other celebrities, and I'm excited to do that event with you. But this Somali Waltz song has now climbed the charts. You and Ram, Real America's Music, have partnered in this great project. Tell us what made you decide to do this.
My goodness, it's something that we've done for the past 3 years. We take difficult, controversial topics and we turn them into humor. We're giving people an anthem to sing a difficult topic, and it's giving them so much joy. But I'm also getting a lot of hate too, which, with Trump won and different topics like the 2020 election, I get that. With this one, I don't understand why they're calling me a Nazi and disgusting. It's really funny to me how there is no moral compass on the other side anymore.
Yeah. That's such a great point. Natasha, we're going to keep you and bring you back. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back around and keep you for our last block of the show when American Sunrise continues.
Money missing, new millionaires, all the kids are leering in fake daycares. The Somali Waltz.
This holiday season, Real America's Voice is proud to partner with our friends at Angel Studios for a special giveaway you won't want to miss. As they launch season 2 of their hit series Homestead, we're giving you the chance to win an exclusive Homestead hat absolutely free. Everyone who becomes an Angel Guild member using our link is automatically entered to the contest. When you join, you're supporting meaningful pro-American storytelling, and you're supporting RAV at the same time. Scan the QR code on your screen right now or text the word RAVAngel to 75802. After you scan or text, make sure you follow the steps provided. When you complete the steps and join the Angel Guild, you'll be automatically entered to win that exclusive Homestead hat, a perfect holiday gift for yourself or someone you love.
Be one of the first 50 people to sign up and win a hat automatically. Hurry while there's still time.
So scan that QR code or text RAVAngel to 75802. Happy holidays from all of us at RAV.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
I'm a J6er, and I spent 3 months in jail and about a year in prison.
I spent 4 years out of an 18-year sentence in prison.
J6ers have been smeared and defamed by the media, persecuted by the government, and treated like terrorists.
In reality, J6ers are patriotic men and women, mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers from all walks of life.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
And we need your help.
For just $10 or more, you're helping these patriots get mental, physical, and spiritual help.
Please scan the QR code or go to j6support.com to donate $10 or more to support these American patriots.
Thank you for being a patriot. Thank you for standing in the gap.
Play your cards right. You could be governor. And if you need a green card, marry your brother.
All right, welcome back to American Sunrise. Thanks so much for being with us today. We are back with the one and only Natasha Owens with the new hit song, Somali Waltz. Natasha, I'll be joining you at the Moms for America event on February 6th. Wanted to mention that with Brittany Aldean and Kathy Gifford and others. It's going to be fun. But in the meantime, this amazing song, Somali Waltz, tell us about why songs like this are so important for the music industry right now.
Well, you know, music is very powerful. Where words can't penetrate or be effective, music can. And that's the reason they know that it's a big threat. And that's why people they have a tough time standing up and saying truth because they're scared of being canceled. They're scared of being, come against. But you have to just do what you believe in. You have to hit topics that are too controversial because that is where the truth lies. And that's what they're not wanting to hear. So we want to bring people joy in a hard topic. We're wanting them to have an anthem in order to be able to sing it and have fun with it.
Hey, Natasha, David Brody here. So what's interesting to me is that this is just climbing the charts, which really says that you guys, you've really struck a nerve here, and that there is an audience for this, obviously, that is. I don't know about stealth. They're not stealth. I mean, they're really out there, and you're really playing to this because you would think that a music video and a song like this will be controversial, but the fact that it's growing in the charts says that there's a lot of folks that actually agree with what you're talking about here.
So with every song that we put out, you're automatically now going to have half the people that hate you and half the people that love you. But I think we're resonating with more independents and some Democrats that have a moral compass that believe that it's not right to take taxpayers' money and just waste it and give it to illegals and not put it back into the pockets of the American people. And so it's really cool to see. It got to number 2 over the weekend. And what I need for everyone to do is buy it on iTunes. You can listen to it on Spotify, but 350 listens equals 1 buy on iTunes. I would love to see this number 1. And it gives courage to everybody else who wants to step out, but thinks that they're